into the midday show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm Ray Dunn. Amy Fadul hanging out with us today for
Good
all
morning.
4 hours. Sean Rodman producing the show. The Phillies are going to the postseason, and the Birds are 2-0.
Let's go.
And that's your takeaway from Sunday. All right, that's it.
All right.
I appreciate everyone
Thanks,
for coming out.
everyone.
Thanks for talking. We're going to leave it there. All right. That game yesterday, they beat the Chiefs, which is good. They win on the road in Arrowhead. Fantastic. They led Mahomes to his first 3-game losing streak ever. Amazing. Love it. They're 2-0, which is a lot better than a lot of teams across football could say today. But man, oh man, is it exhausting. It's rewarding, but it's an exhausting process to get there. That's the takeaway for me for yesterday. I got done watching that game. My roommate looks at me. He's like, everything all right? He's not an Eagles fan. He looks at me. He's like, everything all right? Like, yeah. I'm just tired. I feel like I just went through 60 minutes of war right there watching that game.
Absolute grind.
I had to go take a walk to clear my mind of the thoughts I had of that game. And it's September. So the idea that this is the new preseason, this is what you should expect from early season football, very true. Very much the storylines that you drive home that we talked about week one. Why I was concerned about week one, just because it's week one. Week two, you saw it again. It's not perfect football. It's not clean football. Grind it out. This team did that in large part last season, doing it again right now. There's questions about sustainability from it, but the biggest thing that they're able to do is once again find a way, any way, to get themselves a victory. And that's the biggest takeaway from this group. I wanted for so long in my life to be the team in the NFL where it's like, wow, they just pulled that one out of the hat and did it again. And we're watching week in and week out with Sirianni with this group, then become that group in the NFL where it's like, yeah, the numbers, when you look at it, it's like, how in the world is this team doing this? And yet they find a way to do it. And it's a joyful thing. It's just an exhausting process to get there. The 60 minutes in which you watch a football leads to a very rewarding feeling. But, man, was that a tough watch, basically offensively for you the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't think that as much as we hoped it would be Super Bowl Part 2 with this, 40 points put up, that's not realistic. One, obviously the personnel has changed on both sides of the ball for both teams. But really, when you look at this, was a Chiefs team that was absolutely desperate for a win. So you were going to get their best shot. They were at home. Patrick Mahomes has never started the season 0-2, and they were staring at it right in the face. They had to grind it out. I think there's been a lot, we talked on the postgame show last night, a lot of talk about, is Kevin Patullo not calling, an exotic enough offense? Are you getting the guys enough movement? Are you seeing enough type of variety? And maybe he's still easing into it because I feel like there wasn't a lot of different things. It was like A.J. Brown, you're just going to do this one thing. And Devontae Smith, you're just going to do this one thing. And with no Dallas Goedert, it does make it a little bit more one-dimensional at times. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be some variety that needs to be taking place going forward. You're not going to win a lot of games when you throw for just 100 yards. 101.
No.
But you are when your defense is going to play out of their mind. And I thought the defense played exceptionally well.
Yeah, a lot from the defensive side of things. I mean, that defensive front, finally.
A lot of pressure.
Finally, it's been 2 weeks. But you expected more out of that group just because they told you they were expecting more of that group
Right.
by the way they invested it. They wanted to see Nolan Smith take that jump. They wanted to see Jake Hunt take that jump. Really, it was Zadarius Smith that stuck out in neon to me from that defensive front. The secondary, Makuba had a couple of tough spots in there, but come on, that interception, like that is a massive difference in that game. We're going to get to that conversation a little bit later about, I know after week one, there were some people talking, well, if CeeDee Lamb catches those passes, well, Travis Kelce is able to keep his hands on that. But you felt also the presence of Jalen Carter being back. The linebacker play, to me, continues to be the storyline of this group.
Incredible.
Defensively. So you were able to get enough defensively. You're able to slow them down. I think part of it is I might be a little bit of that simple crew where it's like, I like points. And it's like, do you actually love watching defensive battles? I know there was I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was someone during halftime, if it was one of Davis or Brady that were like, you just got to love, or Burkhardt and Brady, where it's like, you just got to love a defensive battle. And it's like, do you? Do I have to love it? My offense looks like this. Do I have to love the defensive battle? That's the biggest thing for me. Offensively, there will be a question about sustainability this week going forward. And A.J. Brown talked about this. So let's hear first from the star wide receiver, who I can imagine is holding back a little bit of how he feels right now, just because slow week one. Everyone's like, well, they got to go to him week two. They did go to him, but he's not putting up those numbers. Listen to A.J. Brown after the game talking about this offense.
I think the goal is to win the game. So, no matter what that looks like. And I think the reason why people may talk about it because they want to know if it's substantial, and can you sustain that throughout the season. So, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair thing to talk about. But, our job is to continue to try to find a way to win. So
I think it's a fair question whether or not it's sustainable.
Yeah.
It is a fair question. Here's the deal with yesterday. It's September. Stacking a win against the reigning AFC champion, who is already 0-1 in a pretty desperate spot to get themselves a victory, on the road in Arrowhead in an environment like that is impressive. It's an impressive win for the Eagles. That's the headline. One of the side stories here is the sustainability of this offense. It's sustainable in September. It's sustainable probably somewhere into October, where you're able to make this work. My biggest issue, and a lot of people talk about the passing game, and that's justifiable to have that conversation. Even last year when the passing game wasn't going great, you were able to generate explosive plays in the running game like nobody's business.
Right.
That's why the season that Saquon had was as impressive as it was. The 2,000 yards, yes, obviously that's impressive, but the number of 70-yard runs that allowed that season to happen, the number of just big plays, here's a 50-yard run from Saquon that he's going to break off, and I think we all expect that to happen at some point. But without those explosive plays, that's the part of this that isn't sustainable and that you can't win, again, come January without that. Right now in September, it's totally acceptable. You win a game, you don't look very good offensively, it's fine. You got plenty of time. You got a first-time play caller against Spags.
Right.
That's a way you can draw this up. You say acceptable, impressive, in terms of the fact that you're able to win that game on the road against that caliber of opponent. But come January, without explosive plays, that's not a sustainable form of offense.
Yeah, I think you went all the way to January, but certainly you can even start next week against the Rams. It's not sustainable as far as the whole season, and it's not sustainable sometimes even within a game, because you're going to find yourself having to fight tooth and nail, which is fine for some games, but other games you're going to run out of gas, I would think. That is just a really tough way. I mean, that 88 yards that Saquon Barkley earned was a very tough 88 yards. That the game book is out on him. Everybody knows it. It's not a big secret. They're going to try to stack the box, bottle him up, and he earns it. He's going to work for those yards. The line's got to do a little bit better of a job, but it's just how it is. They're just going to stack the box. So therefore, I would think needs to be a little bit more creativity on the outside with the wide receivers, so you can kind of get a little bit more some of those big plays. I mean, 13 yards for the longest. Oh no, 28.
Yeah,
the 28. The one Devontae.
The jump ball to Devontae.
Yeah. And that's the thing, for a guy like A.J. Brown, and he's right. Obviously, winning is the most important stat.
Which great to hear him say that, by the way.
It's great. It's like the very first. He said it like multiple times too.
And credit to him, because last week you weren't here with us when he had that's a setup question conversation about the passing game. I didn't like that answer because you can always take a positive spin if you want. He took the positive spin there.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening, AJ. Appreciate you. But also, I have to give credit where credit's due, because I did hear an answer that I liked from him.
Yeah, and it is the most important thing. But he wants to get involved in this offense, and he knows I'm a really good wide receiver. Good things happen when I catch the ball. And if there's a 50-50 ball, if you want to throw the ball up, A.J. Brown's going to get it. He's the king of those.
All right. And just to wrap up where we are with this team, Jalen Hurts, in one of the greatest hot mic moments of recent memory.
Good stuff.
He and Chris Jones at the end of the game talking before they kneel down. Here it is in all its glory. We won the bleeping game.
Yeah. And then he said to sit down.
Beautiful. Beautiful from the
What was
and
Chris
that's
Jones
the point.
thinking? Like, I like Chris Jones. The guy can play on my team any day of the week, but
I'm
he
telling
didn't get 100 yards. First of all, he got 101. And second of all, scoreboard. Like, they're kneeling down in victory formation at the end of the game.
Chiefs downfall theory feels a little bit stronger today. You haven't heard it yet? I'll go through it again for you. The Chiefs downfall theory feels a little bit stronger today. Just watching that team.
Really?
It feels. Yes, I'll explain.
Okay.
I'll explain to you. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But They win the game. That's the important part. It is absolutely acceptable to win a game like that in September. I can't get to January till I get to January. But the sustainability conversation for this offense is officially here because we've seen it back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Spags, great defensive coordinator. Patullo, need more answers with that star level right now. Coming up, Nick Sirianni talking about that exact thing. Is it something that he means what he says? Or does he have to say what he says? We'll get to that coming up next. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back in. 2-0, Amy.
2-0.
2-0. A reminder, they are 2-0.
2-0. It's third time in 4 years they've started 2-0.
That Sirianni has them ready to play, huh?
That was his 50th win
That's
as
insane.
a coach.
Yeah, that
Think about that.
the Notebook after the game.
It's good stuff.
No, sorry, not the movie. The Notebook is in the game notes after the game with, like, he's got the best winning percentage. I know.
He
coming
passed
up
George Allen.
at 2 o'clock, it's going to be, see what he did. He went into Arrowhead, the place that fired him.
I sent you that one, some of those end notes. I did not send them to Bill because I think Bill might have written them. So
He got the talking points. Don't worry. Sirianni got in the group chat and was like, this is what. So that's coming up at 2 o'clock. Speaking of Sirianni, and we're going to get to the phones here at 610-632-0975. The reaction to the Week 2 victory. Victory over the Chiefs. A rematch of the Super Bowl against a Chiefs team that had not lost 3 straight games with Mahomes, a Chiefs team desperate to get a win, Chiefs team in its home opener. Granted, without their top receivers, but it's Patrick Mahomes. And everyone felt that magic. Everyone that was like, I think the magic is lost.
Literally.
When the Chiefs got the ball back, the last thing in your head you thought was, I think the magic's lost.
It's just like when I watched that Chiefs-Chargers game. At the end of this game yesterday, I thought, all you need to do is get the first downs because you can't let that man back on the field. You just can't.
Nope. Can't let him back on the field.
Don't want to do it.
Which also, we're going to get to it later in the show. The 4-minute offense, back-to-back weeks for me. The game-killing drives. Little bit to be desired, but we'll get to that coming up. Nick Sirianni speaking post-game about the expectations they have following last year and how the performances haven't yet lined up to that.
When you come off a season like we came off last year, I think the expectation is that you're going to pick up right where you left off. Well, there's steps to this, right? There's steps for all the teams that are playing right now, and there's steps to get better. So as you're getting better, our goal is to play our best football by the end of the year. As you're getting better, find ways to win, get better, and repeat.
I'm nitpicking.
Yeah.
But thought we weren't addressing last year. I thought the messaging coming into this year was we're not talking about last year. Took 2 weeks for them to not look their best out there, and he's already like, well, remember last year we were really great. It takes a while to get to that really great level. Just saying. But is it something necessarily that when he says, we want to be playing our best football by the end of the season, something that he means, something that he has to say, or just wants to say in this moment to remind you not to freak out?
I think that he wants to say it in that moment as kind of like a little nod of like, all right, I know we don't talk a lot about last year, but let's just, you guys do, so I'll lean into that.
Yeah.
This is more for your benefit more than anything else.
And I have to give him credit. He's very good at driving home the message inside those 4 walls. So if this is the message of like, remember when we played our best football, it is a departure from the message that we got all offseason of like last year doesn't matter. But it is a nice reinforcement
it's like parts of last year matter.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to focus on the repeat and the Super Bowl and returning to the Super Bowl, but they do. You can take away, obviously, you can take away a lot of stuff from last year, but you can't certainly take away the slow start, the hiccups along the way, and then the turning it on at the right time.
And to his credit as a coach, I thought they played a more cleaned up version of football than week 1 there was lots of cleanup, but I think there was a more cleaned up version.
Yeah.
Offensively, there's still so much that you have to decipher.
There's a lot left on the table.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I thought you were going to win by, 3 touchdowns, but I thought you could have scored just a smidge more.
Well, I just think coming off of the
27.
conversation we had last week, it was like this passing game needs to find something of a rhythm. They need to find their big pass catchers. And to the credit there, AJ, they do go to him early. They start to find
They did.
But I remember, and this is, sorry to bring back bad memories for people, 2 years ago, 2023, I remember I was doing middays with Andrew Salciunas at the time. And that Commanders game, they put up like 38 points. They scored at will, it felt like, and they probably could have scored 50. I think they had a couple turnovers where it could have been like a 50-burger. And Andrew came in that Monday, and he's like, that was the most boring offense I've ever watched. And it's like, yeah, they did do so well in actually getting down the field and scoring, but like it was a very boring look. It was like, all right, the same route every time for Devontae Smith. Let's just try and find him somewhere in the flat. Like, okay, this is what they were doing every time with A.J. Brown. And it felt kind of that way with A.J. Brown yesterday, where it's like, I don't know. He's one of the best receivers in football. His route tree might be a little bit better than just, let's see if we can run that slant again.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, it's fine. The slant works for him, but he can do a lot more than that. And I feel like the offense as a whole, and you're talking about getting in the rhythm, part of that is having different options, right? It's not just the same exact thing, because then you become so one-dimensional. The defense knows exactly what you're doing, and it's like, oh, well, guess where AJ's going to go? I know exactly where he's going to be because it's been where he's been the entire game. He didn't have a single catch in the second half.
Yeah.
5 at the half, none second half.
It's brilliantly boring in the sense that it works.
Right.
Like, they have found a way to put up enough points where this defense can do its job and you feel good. But it is also brilliantly boring to the sense of, I, again, got done with that game, sat up from the couch, put away the food that we ordered for the game, just sat there at the kitchen and was like, whew. It's like, what's wrong? I'm just exhausted. That game I felt like I was battling that. That grinded out style, it works for them. And it can work for them throughout a lot of honestly, the season. Because you think about the opponents you get, they are just so much better than so much of this league that it can work for you. I don't need style points in September. And I'm not even asking for style points. I'm just looking for an offensive rhythm that I obviously have not gotten.
I think a little breathing room. I think not only was the game, you felt that way because of the way that played out, the way that the style and the way the offense was operating or kind of lack thereof, but it was also the opponent you were playing. Like, you were just waiting for them to do something because you're like, we haven't given ourselves enough of a chance. Like, this 3 points is not enough. Like, you need to be able to put this team away a little bit more to give yourself some breathing room. And I think that kind of added to the level of exhaustion that you felt.
All right, coming up, bring it to the text line and phone line, because I do want to hear from people here at 610-632-0975, how you guys are feeling following the victory, the 2-0 start. It's always better when there's a lot to clean up when you're 2-0. It's like,
yeah,
who else in this division is 2-0? Oh, yeah, that's right. Nobody. Okay.
Not a soul.
That's great. How about that mid-off in the afternoon? Woo, man, Giants, Cowboys, defense optional.
It was until it became overtime, and then it was like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Score anything.
We'll get to your reaction to this game coming up. Also, hearing Dean Blandino complain, maybe think about the national audience.
That was the game of the week.
Who's the boogeyman now? And also, who does everyone hate now? I like being the center of attention on this one. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Take it through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's Victory Monday. I'm Sean Rodman, and it wasn't pretty yesterday for the Birds on offense. Nick Sirianni was asked postgame on the style of the Eagles' win.
Our job, especially early in the season, is, and what I've said constantly, a team is find a way to win. Take pride in winning any way that you possibly can. Work to get better throughout the week. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
The defense, on the other hand, held the Chiefs' offense to 17 points, and rookie safety Drew Makuba had an interception off of Patrick Mahomes in the red zone. Jalen Carter was seen grabbing around his wrist during the game. He told the media post-game that it was a stinger, and he was never going to come out of yesterday's game. We'll keep an eye out on the injury report Wednesday to see if he misses or is limited at practice this week. The Phillies clinched a playoff berth yesterday with a loss for the Giants, but the magic number is at 1 for the NL East. The Phillies can clinch tonight in the NL East as the team starts a 3-game series in LA against the Dodgers. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phils tonight, and Emmett Sheehan for the Dodgers. First pitch is at 10:10. This update is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. Looking for an exceptional driving experience? Experience the power, precision, and intelligence of an iconic Mercedes-Benz SUV at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Now the Eagles get ready for the Super Bowl rematch as it's all being, put out this week, that it's the Eagles and the Chiefs again. Now, we were talking this morning. We don't believe that it was 40-6 when the starters went out. We don't believe the two teams were that lopsided in talent against each other. But the beatdown on that day was very visible. To see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes get taken out like that, what do you think they've got cooking for Sunday? And Steve Spagnuolo.
I think that it's going to be a tough challenge because, look, the Chiefs lost their first game, and they're 0-1. So they're the only team in that division, amazingly enough, after 1 week, that didn't win a game. I mean, it would be something if the Chiefs fell 0-2. 0-2. There's no way that they've ever started 0-2 under Mahomes. No way. So that to me is one of the biggest challenges that the Eagles face is you're getting their A game this Sunday. Home opener for them, 0-1. Like you're gonna get their best game on Sunday.
Shefty, Zadarius Smith signs with the Eagles. Then they make the trade for Tank Bigsby. Was this something that you believe has been in the works for a while, or was this something to do with week one?
Both were in the works for a while. Zadarius Smith they've been talking to for quite some time. I think that they were moving towards the deal, didn't get it done in time for the opener, and obviously then got it done shortly thereafter the next day. Tank Bigsby, the conversations with the Jaguars dated back to this summer. Initially, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be a part of that deal with Fred Johnson, the offensive tackle.
Interesting.
And there were some discussions, and Jacksonville, at the end, pulled him back from the trade, and they had agreed to two separate packages. One that was a solo Fred Johnson trade, another that was a Fred Johnson and Tank Bigsby trade together. In the end, ultimately at that time, Jacksonville decided it only wanted to part ways with Fred Johnson, but obviously the Eagles remained interested in Tank Bigsby, went back to the well, and finally were able to pry him loose for a 5 and a 6.
I just saw Ricky Bo. He just walked right by. He told me I was number one as he was walking by. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, taking you through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Let's get to the people. The Birds are 2-0. There's lots to clean up. Plenty that we can break down from it. We've already complained a little bit. Slightly. I'm complaining. You're being more the rational mind here. I'm just complaining.
You're not really complaining. You're just saying, like, this might not be super sustainable. And I think that that's a fair assessment.
Again, January. I can't get to January right now.
It's hard. The offense looked, it was lackluster. I just thought the creativity of some of it lacked a lot of creativity. But I'm also wondering, it is the second week. We kind of threw out the first week because it was wonky week one. I don't want to say I throw out the second week because of playing in the environment that is Arrowhead Stadium against one of the premier defensive coordinators. But maybe I'm not as like, well, I don't know. I feel like that it was very vanilla with the offense, and there was no variety. And maybe that's what I was missing.
Yeah. It's the fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Or no, fool me once, shame on you.
Yes.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me 3 times, I'd just
don't
stop
get
talking
fooled
to me.
again.
Yeah. Why are we still having this conversation?
It's bad because it's the George Bush retelling of that saying that's ruined it in my mind. I can't actually hear the real version of it. It's because it was sampled on a J. Cole song. That's really what gets me.
The J. Cole song is what I love. People probably don't even think that that's like a real thing.
It is a real thing, but it's been ruined in my mind forever because of that J. Cole song. Because now anytime someone says "fool me once," I just can't get fooled again.
Shame. Yeah. Yep. That's why are we even? Yeah.
We got a saying in Tennessee. In Texas. It's probably in Tennessee.
Could have been. Could have been anywhere.
Sorry. If you expected George Bush to come up in the first hour of the Eagles recap.
His idioms.
But what it is you do it once, I kind of write it off as fine. That's a one-off. Once you do it twice, where we're talking about this offense not looking in rhythm, then it's a trend. You do it 3 times, next week we'll be talking about it nonstop. But it's the one takeaway of the win where it's like, where can they improve? Let's go to the text line, see what people are thinking at 610-632-0975. Sean Rodman, what do we got?
Well, Sean from Cinnaminson
What up,
is
Sean?
with Amy on this one. I am concerned with the vanilla play calling. It was a Brian Johnson-like play calling game.
Ooh.
Seemed like he had 5 to 6 play calls on his sheet. Stop playing soft. Stop playing scared. You have good players. Use them. Chargers killed the Chiefs with play action, and we didn't run play action once. Bills and Ravens for week 2 didn't have problems on offense. Get it together.
So, I will say, there was a moment where Brian Johnson popped into my
No,
brain. You wanna
that is
why?
too strong.
Which also, partially Brian Johnson. I know he won the Super Bowl. I know he's our head coach. He's got one of the greatest winning percentages of all time. There is a vanilla aspect of the Sirianni offense because this was something that I felt like was his influence.
There you go.
These screens, the short passes. Oh, we're just gonna go underneath with this. I know the short passes are an extension of our running game. You've got Saquon Barkley. I don't need any more extensions to your damn running game. Please spare me the screens. Oh, the passes behind the line of scrimmage. You're
Those are
killing me.
tough.
You're killing me.
It's one thing to do those every now and again, but that they were too relied upon. I will take a little teeny exception about the thing is we don't know what plays were always called.
Right.
To say that there's only 4 or 5, that's maybe what it seemed like, which is probably it. If you actually look at it, I'm sure the number's a little bit larger, but it's not a huge number. There's not like there was 50.
Right.
Just with the way they looked. They might have been a couple different nuances, but basically inherently there was 5 or 6 similar plays, and it seemed like that made it very, very one-dimensional and kind of vanilla, I think is the word.
Yeah, I think people
But I mean, we don't know exactly what it was called.
people want retirement home level wrinkles in the offense. And right now you got Neutrogena commercial level wrinkles
Yes.
in this offense.
That's good.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you. That's it. I'm done for the day. That was my
was
one line that I
great.
got for the day. But I think that's what people are looking for, and you just don't feel like
Because
you have it.
the horses. I think that's why. If you were the Chiefs, yeah, you could be like, you have like 3 people out there that know how to catch a ball, and 2 of them. There's a couple people we're looking at. I'm like, what is this guy? Who is this gentleman? And when you have the horses that the Eagles have in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, you're thinking you should be able to let them run and do a little bit more freelancing out there.
All right, let's go to the phones here and get our first caller. And let's go to Lloyd, who wants to jump in on this offense. Lloyd, you're on 97.5, The Fanatic.
Good morning. Happy Victory Monday to everyone, man.
Happy Victory Monday to
Monday.
you, too.
Yes, on the road, another truck driver. As far as the game, Pachulo, his second week as offense coordinator, he's starting to become predictable. I mean, come on, man. You got to show some flash. You got to switch it up. Run, bubble screen. Run. I mean, come on, man. We got like Amy said, we got 2 thoroughbreds, on each side, and Dallas Goedert, which we did miss yesterday. You got to utilize them, man. You got to let them run free, man. Switch it up. Don't let them hone in on. We can expect this. You got to do something different. And as far as sustainability, we got to give a shout out to Jake Elliott. What is he like? 4 for 4, 50+ field goals. Even the one where we got the false start and they backed it up 5 yards, and he still booted it.
Yeah, that was impressive right before the half. I have to say, hand up in the air. Amy, I said this
You did.
last week, and Andrew DeCecco still hasn't called me on it. I was worried about him when he had that miss in the preseason. Like, ooh, he was 1 for 7 beyond 50 last year, and that one was only a 50-yarder. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this. He has reversed course from the mistakes of last season. So credit to the kicker on this one, Jake Elliott doing his job.
Amen. I mean, that's one person we need to have sustainability. That's one thing. As far as the defense, our defense looks good. McCoover did his thing. To Howie Roseman, the chess master of making trades, the Darius Smith. Man, he was in for a couple of plays. My man Jahad Campbell, they letting him go. I loved it. Even when he got the quote-unquote roughing the passer, I'm here, Patrick Mahomes. I'm a rookie, but I'm here, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And Mahomes is good for one of those. Mahomes is always good for one of those a game.
Because if you freelance a little too much, you're going to make some mistakes.
Yeah. I mean,
But they were absolutely scoring a touchdown there, and we were all like, oh, this is not good.
I mean, the rookies, and he mentioned Zadarius Smith, and we highlighted Zadarius Smith in a moment. I don't know if it's more telling for the way I feel about the offseason that they had adding parts defensively through free agency. or more telling about Zadarius Smith, that he's already the most impactful one.
Literally just rolled up there, and it was funny. We were on the pregame show, and we're talking, and I don't know. I mean, what's he going to be able to do? I think Ron Jaworski looked at me like, Jaws is like, his assignment is to see quarterback hit quarterback. And sure enough,
And he stopped the run.
he did it. Listen, he went to a fine university. Zadarius Smith, big fan.
He looked great yesterday. I was a big fan of what I saw from Zadarius Smith. Big fan of what you saw from defense. What I wasn't a fan of, Dean Blandino talking about my football team. All right?
Oh, that's true.
You keep our damn play out your mouth. All right? At the end of that game, we're going to play that for you because everybody hates us at this point.
They sure do.
Very,
and it
very
sounds like
obvious.
obvious.
Yeah, it hurts to listen to a little bit. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. That's coming up here at Middays, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Every game day.
Now the Eagles get ready for the Super Bowl rematch as it's all being, put out this week, that it's the Eagles and the Chiefs again. Now, we were talking this morning. We don't believe that it was 40-6 when the starters went out. We don't believe the two teams were that lopsided in talent against each other. But the beatdown on that day was very visible. To see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes get taken out like that, what do you think they've got cooking for Sunday? And Steve Spagnuolo.
I think that it's going to be a tough challenge because, look, the Chiefs lost their first game, and they're 0-1. So they're the only team in that division, amazingly enough, after 1 week, that didn't win a game. I mean, it would be something if the Chiefs fell 0-2. 0-2. There's no way that they've ever started 0-2 under Mahomes. No way. So that to me is one of the biggest challenges that the Eagles face is you know you're getting their A game this Sunday. Home opener for them, 0-1. Like you're gonna get their best game on Sunday.
Shefty, Zadarius Smith signs with the Eagles. Then they make the trade for Tank Bigsby. Was this something that you believe has been in the works for a while, or was this something to do with week one?
Both were in the works for a while. Zadarius Smith they've been talking to for quite some time. I think that they were moving towards the deal, didn't get it done in time for the opener, and obviously then got it done shortly thereafter the next day. Tank Bigsby, the conversations with the Jaguars dated back to this summer. Initially, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be a part of that deal with Fred Johnson, the offensive tackle.
Interesting.
And there were some discussions, and Jacksonville, at the end, pulled him back from the trade, and they had agreed to two separate packages. One that was a solo Fred Johnson trade, another that was a Fred Johnson and Tank Bigsby trade together. In the end, ultimately at that time, Jacksonville decided it only wanted to part ways with Fred Johnson, but obviously the Eagles remained interested in Tank Bigsby, went back to the well, and finally were able to pry him loose for a 5 and a 6.
Midday show here on The Fanatic alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. 2-0. Birds are 2-0. It's a victory Monday, a football Monday here on The Fanatic. It's brought to you by Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit nopayBryant.com. Beautiful to say that. 2-0. You know who can't say that today? Anyone else in the AFC East.
Nope.
It's a very, very nice feeling. Regardless of what we're talking about. I like opening the segments with that. Because
try to a little bit of positive.
Well, there is
Before
plenty
you
of
get in
positive.
there.
We're
Before
very
you get in there and poo-poo on everything.
Here's the thing about the Eagles that's most impressive. They have become that team that no matter what, you sit there at the end like there's some way they're going to pull this off. Like you believe in your heart there's some way they can pull it off. There's obviously the other side of it where you're sitting there biting your nails like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? But they've become that team around the NFL where everybody's like, oh, crap, these guys again.
Oh,
They're the boogeyman.
He's going to find a way to win. That's right.
They are. I mean, that's really what they've become. Like, people are hate watching the Eagles religiously. Like yesterday, if you were a national audience watching that game,
Yeah, because it's the national.
you're hating both teams. Like, you are watching that from a hate. Like, if I was a fan of
The Bills.
the Bills for sure, because I'd be like, Josh Allen doesn't have a Super Bowl, but Hurts does. If I was a Bills fan, that's 100% the energy that I would have.
We can't beat Patrick Mahomes.
We can't beat either of these two
This is
squads.
ridiculous.
But, like, if you're watching it as a Bills fan, that's great. Or, like, a Cleveland Browns fan.
I was going to say Browns, just because that's just more like a wistful.
Right. And you're just, like, miserable. Like, you just watch Lamar Jackson torch your team. You know, you got old Joe on your squad. Like, you're like, all right, fine, I'll watch the 4 o'clock slate. And you watch this game. And you're just angry the entire way at both sides. The Eagles have raised themselves to that level of hatred.
I love it.
For the success. And that hatred also comes from one play. Dean Blandino. At the end of that game, Hurts, there's the moment where the Chiefs like, we took the football from Hurts. We've got it. It's like, no, you don't. Shut up. Like,
I know.
Tush push. Like,
Stop it. And they're like getting up. Like, literally at one point, they all started pointing. They're like, the ref is pointing the other way. So stop.
Love that Hurts is just holding on to it. Like, I'm not letting go of this football until someone tells me that I have the football and then it's over here. Ultimate, I just want to win this game. Don't take this from me moment for him. But Blandino, sick of officiating the tush push. Take a listen.
I am done with the tush push, guys. It's a hard play to officiate like we've been talking about.
Oh, but you're not. You don't actually do that anymore.
Which, by the way, it is a difficult play to officiate on both sides because quite clearly you missed a touchdown.
We're watching the review, and I'm thinking, are my eyes deceiving me? Because it's pretty clear. Whatever.
I have nothing for you on that one. I thought very obviously that was touchdown.
You could see the ball go through.
And then the next play, they're false starting here. Look at the hands of the defense. They're not officiating anything. The officials have decided on the tush push. They're just going to let chaos rule the day.
And they're just going to we'll just figure it out at the end. Or we won't.
That's the biggest thing with this right now.
Yeah, the review, it was pretty clear. And then they run it again. I was like, okay, what's...
Also,
mass chaos.
The nerve of Blandino. You are there to be called upon 6-7 times a game.
Yeah,
I'm sure you get paid a handsome rate.
What's happening?
I'm sick and tired of talking about the tush push. The nerve for you, Dean. The nerve for you. You get called on maybe 10 times a game if you're lucky. Maybe. I'm sick of talking about. That's your job, buddy. That's what you're here to do. You're here to be the official guy in the booth. That's the whole point of this Blandino experience.
Exactly.
You are not Tom Brady. I can't believe I'm going to bat for Tom Brady.
Wow.
You are not Super Bowl winning quarterback Tom Brady, one of the best of all time.
You're a ref.
That we want your football breakdown. This is what you're paid to do.
You're a ref. You're a ref.
Be like me
Interpret
saying
the rules for us.
I'm sick of breaking down Eagles games.
And also,
that's my job.
If you watch the game and you didn't have Dean Blandino, would you miss it? Would you miss that extra little nonsense about well, here's the ruling?
And for
all right, anybody could have said that.
For a broadcast crew, and maybe this is me getting on a soapbox here. You're spending money on this official. That's money into the broadcast here. You have to bring something. If your entire analysis, I'm sick of officiating this. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're not actually.
I don't need you then.
You're not officiating it.
Oh, you won't see him no more.
Yeah, I mean we will, because he's not going to lose his job. But it's like, I'm tired of officiating the tush push.
We'll just get Gene Steratore with his Pittsburgh accent.
Yeah, I just do what you're supposed to do there. Tell me why it's not going to be a fumble. Tell me why the Eagles have a first down.
Seems so simple, and yet
it's part of the game, buddy.
Yeah, until it's not, that's the thing. Until it's not. I get that people don't like it. I get that there's a lot of people out there that think that it's not a football play and whatever. We've all heard it by now.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? It is a football play because I saw it on the football field. It's a legal football play. So until that doesn't happen or until it ceases to be one, we're going to talk about it. So get over it.
Blandino, go
Dean
give the
Blandino.
presentation next year at the owners' meeting. All right? Give the presentation against it. Till then, do your job. That's it.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like, I get that he doesn't like it. I don't know why he has to remind us he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's not. People don't think it's a football play. Refs probably don't like calling it because it's very confusing. Which a lot of times, obviously, we've seen they don't. They just kind of let it all happen and figure it out at the end.
I'm sorry.
But you don't need to talk about it.
Was there not an opportunity? Were the officials not like, hey, maybe we should go to that owners' meeting and give a presentation on why this play sucks? Like,
or why it's difficult for us to call.
There was an entire campaign to ban the play. Where were you, Blandino?
For a year.
Where were you, referees? If you hate it so much, go vote against it. And you can't necessarily vote against it, but you could rally the troops. You could say, hey,
presentation, if you really want to.
If the officials went up to an owner and was like, hey, man, we'd really like this out of the game. You think that owner's not going to be like, huh, referees?
Okay, tell us more.
Help me on my team? Let's go to Upper Double and talk with Kyle about the game. Kyle,
2-0.
You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning, guys. So, it's funny hearing, Blandino is his name?
Yes.
So me and my brother were actually pay-per-view commentators. And, so I guess I would have been totally okay if that was Brady's, opinion. It's his job to call what he sees.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine working at a venue and the sound guys talking about, I really hate these microphones. Like, hey, buddy, just work on the microphones and do your job. We'll take it from here. So, yeah, I totally understand you guys from that. And hey, listen, after week one's offensive performance, I'm in a bunch of group chats where all my friends, we're all diehard Eagles fans like everybody, and everybody's panicking about the offense. And I'm like, hey, listen, it's week one. We need to relax. Let's just take a chill pill. It's week one. Week two, not so much. I don't need the style points, but I do want to see a rhythm to the rhyme, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I do want to feel like my offensive coordinator looks like he's qualified, bare minimum. And I don't want to cast any judgment on Batula too early, but I have to say it doesn't look good. It is frustrating. I mean, I've seen the offense chirping at the coaches, on the sideline of the game yesterday. And, it has to be frustrating to have all this weaponry on offense and not be able to get it going. So I understand the frustration. But, hey, we are 2-0. I did want to speak on Dory Jackson. We have to fix this. And it's just glaring that he's not, fit to be a starting corner on this football team. I don't want to say he doesn't belong in the league, but 9 years.
A team with this level of expectations, having him in the secondary is a concern point for you. That's true. Yesterday, I don't know if that's my biggest takeaway from him. I think he was okay, but
I was
he's
gonna say
okay
adequate.
against what? And so Kyle's point there.
They don't have Xavier Worthy out there.
No Rashee Rice.
I mean, if you let Juju Smith-Schuster beat you,
right, that tells you something.
You got issues.
Which I think they're going to give it another week.
Yeah.
I think after this week, they can't make that change necessarily, but I wouldn't be surprised after Nakua and Adams if we're not talking about, it's time to see Bennett. Also, at some point, you have to see Bennett, because if Bennett's not the answer, then you have to
find it.
And you have to find it early on to get that person in here and get them up to speed.
Yeah. I would think Jacorian Bennett has got at least the short-term answer if the move is going to be made in the next week and a half, after next week.
Right. I didn't watch.
This time next week, I guess
I watched the game last night. I didn't watch it with an eye for Isaiah Rodgers because I know after week one, everyone was pining for, why don't you keep Rodgers around? Still feels like the right move to have kept Isaiah Rodgers around versus what you have rolling out there right now.
Right.
To be honest with you, maybe I'm get off my lawn. Sunday Night Football being Falcons-Vikings. This is professional football. I don't care these guys played in the national championship game against each other.
That was a lot of information, needlessly so. It's a nugget, you drop it, and then you move on.
But
it was like
we're the NFL schedule makers.
Yeah.
This week, what do we have?
It was
Eagles Chiefs, 4:25. Sunday Night Football. Yeah, these guys two matched up in a college game.
And the Falcons on Sunday Night Football.
Also, J.J. McCarthy right now is a fourth quarter of the first game merchant. He's played 7 bad quarters. He's played 1 good quarter. Let's all relax on the whole J.J. McCarthy. Let's anoint the man. All right? I'll say it. I'll stand on that island.
Well, it's a lot bigger than an island.
Well, after week 1, whoa, J.J. McCarthy. Ah.
Oh, listen. The Jared Goff people are out in full effect today.
Yeah, they are.
They're out really in full effect.
We got Besides the Birds coming up at 11:30. We will get to that. Winning the breakup. We will break down the 5 games that stuck out to me. Coming up next, though, Nick Sirianni had compliments for his quarterback after the game, which leads me to a question that Kyle just got into, that I think you and I have gotten into already, at least on or off the air, about this offense. If you think he's good at something, have him do it. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's Victory Monday. I'm Sean Rodman, and this update is sponsored by BetParks, online casino and sportsbook. Live bet sports on the BetParks app and play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbooks app. Nick Sirianni was asked postgame on the style of the Eagles' win after it wasn't too pretty for the offense yesterday.
Our job, especially early in the season, is, and what I've said constantly to the team, is find a way to win. Take pride in winning any way that you possibly can. Work to get better throughout the week. Repeat.
The defense, on the other hand, held the Chiefs to just 17 points. Jalen Carter was seen grabbing his around his wrist in the game. He told the media post-game that it was a stinger and he was never going to come out of that game. We'll keep an eye out on the injury report this week for him. The Phillies clinched a playoff berth yesterday with the Giants' loss to the Dodgers. The magic number for the NL East is now at 1. The Phils can clinch tonight as they start a 3-game series in L.A. against the Dodgers. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phillies tonight and Emmett Sheehan for the Dodgers. First pitch is at 10:10. This update is brought to you by Thrivent. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. The most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect at Thrivent.com. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
A Chiefs offense without Rashee Rice and without Xavier Worthy, I mean, now you're down to, I get it, Travis Kelce is still a guy who can make some plays, and Marquise Brown had 10 catches for 99 yards. When has ever a Chiefs receiver caught 10 passes and not even had 100 yards? So I think that's and this is a Chiefs team that was really trying this preseason and going into this year to try to get back to being a vertical offense. They really haven't had that. So, I mean, without those two guys, if Marquise Brown, who's not a bad receiver, but certainly not, not a guy that you like CeeDee Lamb, right? If that's their number one target out there, I think the secondary is not going to be, scared to death. So as long as you get a good pass rush and don't give Mahomes time to pick you apart and, find guys in the zone like Kelce or Marquise Brown, then they should be all right. So I would say the pass rush it's got to be on them to get the job done. I think, obviously, if you're going to have that kind of game plan where everything is very short and fast and quick, you have to be You have to be decisive, and Jalen Hurts was. I know he had 4 incompletions, but 3 of them were on throwaway. So I think really only one, and one was a drop, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was only one ball Jalen Hurts threw that hit the ground that was, say, his fault. So that's pretty good. He was very, very efficient. I would expect that was a little bit of an anomaly and that you will see that more, especially because the Chiefs are a little bit more aggressive defensively.
Closing in on the 11 o'clock hour here on the Midday Show. You're tuned into WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn, taking you through the Midday Show today. Eagles 2-0. Just a reminder. Again, a reminder. Let's go to, actually, I want to get to the text line real quick here, because I know I don't like to neglect our texters. You know, we got one text in there earlier from Sean Cinnamon, but I want to make sure that they have their voices heard today at 610-632-0975, because it's reaction day. It's about you guys.
2-0.
It's about you guys out there. It's a reaction day. Sean Robin, what do you got?
All right, you want a reaction? We got one from no name on this one, but says Nick Wright has to be pulling out his greasy-ass hair he's got today.
You know what his take is today, too. They were without their top 2 receivers. Mahomes was a magic man. If the tush push didn't exist, they win that game. The Eagles once again showed me why they're not a Super Bowl team. That showed me this Chiefs team is probably the most impressive 0-2 team I've ever seen. That's the Nick Wright take today.
That sentence is absolutely coming out of his mouth.
I could program your show for you, Nick Wright. Here, this is free for you. There's the line. There's the lead of today's show.
That's the best 0-2 team.
There it is.
And the thing is, he's probably right in that, but at the same time, it's hard to say that. They didn't look particularly great, no matter who they were missing.
No, they didn't look great.
Mahomes looked fine. Mahomes
looked a little mortal. He looked great in terms of scrambling and running. There were a couple passes he missed that I was like, Patrick Mahomes? Sir, you did that? I was like, I expect that from a couple of other quarterbacks. Like if Dak did it last week, I expect it from him. Yeah, there were a couple of Mahomes passes I was like, I'm so old, I remember when he made that pass consistently. All right, what else we got, Robin?
All right, another texter is Marshall from Florida, says, unfortunately, this offense reminds me of 2 years ago, and that worries me a bit.
So
here's the Brian Johnson reference again.
Yeah, this is going to become a very, very obvious comparison to make. In-house hire, was there first season when she went to the Super Bowl. Offense looks stale. Let's compare it to Brian Johnson. I understand why we're doing it. I also see the Sirianni influence on this with the screens. Like that was something that drove me a little crazy. And I will say, it does not look very complex. I said it earlier. I'm going to use the line again because this is probably my creative moment of the week, and I'm going to revel in it. We're all looking for an offense with wrinkles like a retirement home. We got wrinkles right now like a Neutrogena commercial. Yes. Like, it just doesn't look like there's
we need deeper, more intricate wrinkles.
We just need more, you know? I don't want my offense looking like it's a Neutrogena commercial. I want, retirement home level wrinkles. That's what you need, and you don't see that right now. So I understand people's disappointment with the offense there, which leads me to what Sirianni had to say about Hurts and the deep ball.
I think Jalen Hurts is one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. I think he's shown that I don't think people talk about that enough. Go back to last year and all those fourth downs that went vertical, whether that was in the Browns game in a 4-minute or whether that was in a Giants game on a fourth down or the Super Bowl on a fourth down that ended up coming back. Like, there's all this nitpicking on Jalen, but no one talks about all that. Like, he's unbelievable at throwing the deep ball, which ends up helping set up other things underneath. And so it's just great connection, communication, just that one that they have together, the receivers and Jalen. And that was a huge play in that game, and they brought some pressure. Jalen was able to stand in there, make a great play, and Devontae made a play on the football.
So, very true. They brought the blitz. He did a good job popping that one up into the air. A little underthrown for you. Probably would prefer Smith run under it, but when you have those receivers, especially Devontae Smith, he's going to go high point that football 10 times out of 10. Even the one he doesn't come down with, he was going up there to try and grab it. Obviously, we got the iconic Hurts line after the game that he came up in the clutch. He went down on his back, but he came up in the clutch or something like that. Yeah, great stuff by Hurts after the game. But to me, they tried it a couple times. But when you have a quarterback that you believe is one of the best
deep ball throwers
in the NFL, do it.
Just throw the deep ball. And I think I got his answer in the fact that I love the confidence, but at the same time, the confidence and belief, I get that they're there.
Right.
But I'm not seeing that. Not with any kind of consistency. And it is 2 weeks in.
Right. And that's it. Again, this is me asking for the future, not necessarily concerned for the future. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Through 2 weeks, we can nitpick what we've seen, and this is me asking for something in the future. I want to see them attack down the seam. I want to see them utilize the fact that Hurts get to the deep ball. And you have one of the most physically imposing wide receivers in all of football in A.J. Brown. You're telling me that the only use for him is the slant route?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. He's a big guy. He's certainly, I said it earlier, I do think he's one of the best 50-50 ball catchers in the NFL because he has that size. The size that he plays with, he's really prototypical now what the prototypical receiver looks like. A big, athletic, rangy receiver. That's who you want. And you have him.
Size advantage on the Chiefs' defensive backfield.
He's going to have the size advantage on almost anybody out there.
But especially with their defensive backfield. Right. It just felt like a matchup that you could expose. And again, I'm not necessarily talking about the fact that they're not hitting, 10 passes a game. I'm not asking for the Jameson Williams package in my offense. I'm not asking for the Deshaun Jackson package in my offense. I'm not asking for you to air it out like you got Mike Vick back there just trying to gear up and throw it as far as you can. I'm just saying, you have said it yourself. You believe he's one of the best deep ball passers in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Let's take a chance. Let's not be so risk averse. Give me a little bit more. Explosive plays are important.
Yeah, I wonder how much in practice they are running those things because obviously AJ had been limited a little bit during training camp, and he says he's fine. That was a thing that came up yesterday in the post game. He's sitting there and they said, "Oh, what was the message Nick Sirianni had to the team?" He's like, "I was in the training room." And of course, I was like, "Oh," and he goes, "I'm fine. I was just in there, and I'm fine." But you do wonder if any of the time missed during training camp, they don't play in the preseason, but there's practices during the preseason are more like actual games, right? They have the joint practices and things like that. So I don't know. I mean, is this about getting those guys back on the same page? He's one of the best receivers in the game. You got to call a play to get that guy out there running free in the open. And I think that Jalen Hurts has that ability to freelance. Maybe he just needs the green light to do it. Because I need to see at least one of them.
Well, also, and from his perspective, because for Jalen, all 22 hasn't come out. All of our favorite tape grinders haven't yet given us every single thing on what happened in that game. I just need, I need you and the coaching staff to realize if we're going to be this risk-averse passing-wise, you need to generate the explosives you did last year in the running game.
Yeah.
And you haven't yet done that, and that's also a part of this offensive line figuring itself out.
There is. So obviously Landon Dickerson is still banged up. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but he's out there, and him at whatever percentage it is, 80%, whatever, is better than anything else. Tyler Steen has done a nice job, but he is obviously still new into this. So you wonder if a little bit along the line, if they're having some, that's the strength of this team. They need to be able to rely upon them, and I think that they can. They obviously stack the box. They've got a tremendous defensive front on the Kansas City Chiefs side, so there's no doubt. I mean, they've got a young, very talented defense. It's very good. 88 yards was a hard fought 88. If you had told me you watched that game and you looked at the stats at the end that it was 38 or 48, you would have been like, yeah, that seems right, because it was a really tough 88 yards.
They called it a
for
sneaky
Saquon.
75 at one point in the broadcast, and I was like, that is true.
That seemed right. You're like, really? He's got that many? But he was just, whew.
That 9-yard run to set up what ended up being the encroachment that you don't take, which genius by Sirianni not to take that. And then the 2 tush pushes, which led to Blandino complaining. That entire setup right there, that 9-yard rush was massive from him.
Huge. It was the first time you really saw him like churn through and actually break through, because he was like so close, I think, throughout the game of like really kind of breaking off a nice one. But yeah, I mean, he earned it. Saquon always does, though.
All right, coming up, give out some flowers. Flowers for the game. We've already touched on, honestly, the person that I really want to get to, but we'll throw out some flowers for performances in this game because, again, they're 2-0. People deserve some credit around here for being 2-0. It's not just about the offense today. It's about the fact that you won the football game. And we'll also get your reaction to this one at 610-632-0975. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Take you through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic's Andrew DiCecco, the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Now the Eagles get ready for the Super Bowl rematch, as it's all being, put out this week, that it's the Eagles and the Chiefs again. Now, we were talking this morning. We don't believe that it was 40-6 when the starters went out. We don't believe the two teams were that lopsided in talent against each other. But the beatdown on that day was very visible. To see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes get taken out like that, what do you think they've got cooking for Sunday? And Steve Spagnuolo.
I think that it's going to be a tough challenge because, look, the Chiefs lost their first game, and they're 0-1. So they're the only team in that division, amazingly enough, after 1 week, that didn't win a game. I mean, it would be something if the Chiefs fell 0-2. 0-2. There's no way that they've ever started 0-2 under Mahomes. No way. So that to me is one of the biggest challenges that the Eagles face is you know you're getting their A game this Sunday. Home opener for them, 0-1. Like you're gonna get their best game on Sunday.
Shefty, Zadarius Smith signs with the Eagles. Then they make the trade for Tank Bigsby. Was this something that you believe has been in the works for a while, or was this something to do with week one?
Both were in the works for a while. Zadarius Smith they've been talking to for quite some time. I think that they were moving towards the deal, didn't get it done in time for the opener, and obviously then got it done shortly thereafter the next day. Tank Bigsby, the conversations with the Jaguars dated back to this summer. Initially, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be a part of that deal with Fred Johnson, the offensive tackle.
Interesting.
And there were some discussions, and Jacksonville, at the end, pulled him back from the trade, and they had agreed to two separate packages. One that was a solo Fred Johnson trade, another that was a Fred Johnson and Tank Bigsby trade together. In the end, ultimately at that time, Jacksonville decided it only wanted to part ways with Fred Johnson, but obviously the Eagles remained interested in Tank Bigsby, went back to the well, and finally were able to pry him loose for a 5 and a 6.
They're 2-0, Connor. I tried to tell you yesterday. All that negativity you were spewing about this team. Just kidding. I don't think Connor and negativity have met one another yet. Oh, he just told me I'm number one, too. Man, everyone today's telling me I'm number one. Ricky, Connor.
It happens. So it happens when you host middays. You are number one. Yay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right done alongside Amy Fadul.
Ray's here. You're number one.
I'm number one, yes. The afternoon co-host and the morning show producer both tell me I'm number one today. Can't wait to see Colarulo. I'm sure he'll let me know I'm number one, too. Sean Robin, let's quick get to the text line again here at 610-632-0975 because I want to give out some flowers here. And if you want to give out flowers to a player here for the performance yesterday, I'd love to hear it because there's one person I wanted to single out specifically, but also after we talked about him earlier, there was another player that I was looking at and keying in on for this matchup that I also want to get into as well. What do we got on the text line?
Yeah, we have a handful of things. We'll go with John V to start. He says, I have faith it'll be okay with the offense, but I'm scared that it may not. We've lived through this already.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So yesterday on the pregame show, Connor and I were getting into the when do you trust it conversation with the Eagles. Like, at what point do you actually just trust week in and week out what's going to happen? Because you should, for a reigning Super Bowl champion, feel that way, right? Mm-hmm. Like, this team is so good, I should just have that faith. And I said, I just think we've been conditioned in this town. You go back, all the Super Bowl appearances. 1980, the next year, 81, they go to the postseason, but they lose.
Yeah.
2004 to 2005, a lot happened. They had a disappointing season for a lot of reasons. 2017, the year after. Thanks to Cody Parkey, you win a playoff game. But again, you were in a position to lose in the wild card round.
Right.
2023, we all know how that ended. Like, there hasn't been that period of sustained back-to-back year, back-to-back Super Bowl appearance. And that's normal across the NFL. It's not that it's unique to Philadelphia. Like, New England and Kansas City look at that and say, ha, look at what we've experienced.
We do this all the time.
Yeah. And the Cowboys in the 90s. You know, that's like...
Cowboys in the 90s. Niners in the 80s.
Right. There's a reason why these teams are so iconic and why those teams kind of define that era of football. We have not been able to define an era of football like that, which I understand why people could say, I've seen this before, I'm not going to trust.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I do think that the winning culture is here, and at the end of the day, winning, it cures all ills.
Yeah.
But there is a big concern possibly going forward, and you mentioned, I think the key word here is sustainable.
Right.
When you're not generating enough offense, and again, it's not as if they don't have the horses. They have two of the best receivers in the league. They have the best running back in the league. You've got a great offensive line. You have a younger defense at times, but you saw what they were able to do. On paper, this is the best team in the NFL. There's just there's no question about that in my mind. And so when you see it, again, I'm not ready to go there just yet because I do think that they have the winning ways. I think they find ways to win. The 10-1, the way it ended, but it did start 10-1.
Right.
So you are looking at some sustained wins. They did not do well at the end of the season. We all remember how the playoffs ended, and it was just a disaster. But to come back and bounce back in the way that they have addressed some of the needs, even as the season is rolling on. I mean, think about Zadarius Smith and Tank Bigsby. Those guys got here a week ago. Not even.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, yes, I get it. I'm not ready. I mean, obviously, I'm to paraphrase Aaron Rodgers, I'm not ready to panic yet.
No.
To relax.
I will say, I understand those people that come in today with
there's definitely, like, in the back of your mind, like, I don't know.
Yeah. There's
100 yards is not going to get it done.
There's people that come in today and say, hey, I remember that start in 23. I remember that the Rams game in 23. It's, wow, that defense really flashed. Like, there were conversations about that defense earlier in that season. Like, wow, that defense played pretty well against that opponent. And then we know how that defense ended up. So if you don't feel great about the holes that have been filled on this defense, I got you. If you also don't feel great about the fact that the offense has gotten off to the start that it has, I got you. Like, I'm right there with you. I'm just, again, at 2-0, for me to sound alarm bells, that's not who I am. I just want to realize the concerns that lie there, the concerns that lie ahead. And offensively, there is a concern that it just is too vanilla to start. And maybe that's something they're figuring out together. I know Hurts talked this week about finding that identity. They have to figure out how teams are playing them this year and adjust to it. And so far, I have not loved the adjustment that I've seen across the board.
Yeah, I don't know. The adjustment really hasn't. I don't know that we've seen the adjustment. Maybe that's it. It just feels like this is the game plan. We might tweak a few things, but not a wholesale adjustment. And when you're only producing the limited yards that you're seeing from them, that's problematic.
And I was waiting for this today. So we got a new YouTuber. This is the first time I've seen this YouTuber. When is it ever Hurts' fault? Asking about Hurts' fault for this game. If one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time is sitting on that broadcast telling me there's nothing open for him, I'm willing to say there's not a lot happening out there schematically for him to get guys open. Like, I'm all for criticizing the quarterback when it's warranted.
Yeah.
They have to do better in the passing game. That includes Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I think one of the differences between what you saw week 1, Chargers against that defense, week 2, Eagles against that defense, Chargers attacked down the field and Herbert threw them out of that zone. Hurts, they were not attacking down the field, and he did not throw them out of that zone. So that there's a combination there. The Venn diagram there's somewhere in the middle.
There's an overlap.
There's an overlap between the coordinator's problems and the quarterback's problems. I have to wait to see. I'm always one to, hey, once it's actually all analyzed, broke down in front of you, is it the fact that they weren't attacking too far down the field? I tend to think if Tom Brady's telling me that there's not a lot there for the quarterback to get and that he's questioning the offensive coordinator, that's a probably reliable source.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the All-22, which I think has probably come out by now or is already out, or is coming out soon, you'll see some of this. And AJ, I thought, was really good. AJ Brown was talking about the coverage that the Cowboys put on him. And so he was asked that a little bit last night after the game, but I'm sure he'll go into it because those guys watch the same and they have their own specific breakdowns. But the way that they're covering it, I think it is probably part of it. But I want to, if you believe in Jalen Hurts being one of the best deep ball throwers, the way Nick Sirianni said, then I would give him the ability to freelance just a little bit more. And I think that's it. I'm not saying Jalen just start doing it, but you need to be having those conversations with Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts to talk about trying to get a little bit more. If you recognize something, feel confident enough to change it.
There was also a moment between Steen and Hurts, I think, that first half, where you could see I don't know if they had to take a timeout or they were running down the play clock, where he was visibly upset with Steen and the communication.
Did they take a timeout?
I
or
think
was the clock?
Might have taken a time. I forget what happened. I think they took a timeout to avoid
there was
the delay
definitely
game.
a very concentrated conversation.
Those conversations between the two of them took a little bit longer than I remember in previous times, whether it be a conversation between him and fill in whatever guard is in charge of what they've got Steen rolling with right now.
Right.
Just intrigued to see, and that does go to Hurts because he's the one having the conversation. They're the ones communicating there. That's something I'm very interested to see if maybe they're not getting the adjustments they want at the line of scrimmage, and we could put a lot on the offensive coordinator, but right now the communication just hasn't been there between the quarterback and the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, he was blitzed. He certainly was running. It was a lot of pressure, so there's got to be a little bit more communication, I would think, with recognizing what they were seeing, what Spagnuolo was doing.
All right, let's go talk to Alex in South Philly. Alex, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning, y'all. Excuse me for a minute. Let me walk out the hospital. I'm working. Yes, we got to do better on the offensive side. I think that AJ and Devontae got to get more catches because we had Arcega, Whiteside, and Aguilar before, and they had no problem throwing them the ball, but they couldn't catch. Now you got guys who can catch, and the ball's not going their way. I'm upset because I want them all to eat. I'm an Eagles fan. There's a banquet. Everybody should eat along. Everybody. They feel like they're not getting enough, so I'm upset too. I think these guys should be getting the ball between 6 to 10 times a game, open the field up, and let's start throwing the ball.
So upset to what level? Like right now, they sit at 2-0, and obviously what you said, not everyone's eating right now, not everyone's getting the numbers that they want. How upset as a fan are you that they're not getting those numbers offensively?
I'm upset because I think that they can help out Barkley, take weight off his back. And if you throw the ball a little bit, it opens the field like you know anyway. Just get the ball to these guys and let's pay attention and let's focus on these guys. Take Barkley out the game sometimes. Just put these guys on because you got the two best receivers or the two,
Yeah, one of the best duos in the entire league right here. I understand what you're saying, Alex, and I get where you're coming from in that you want to see them get involved. I don't think there's a single Eagles fan that wakes up today like, wow. There's a lot of fantasy football owners around the Delaware Valley that are like, there's always one. And I know this because of my vast experience in fantasy football leagues. There's always one that is too much of an Eagles fan for their own good, fantasy football-wise, that, like, it's a draft, over a draft. My buddy Joey's this way. And I love him, but he's the quintessential Eagles fan when it comes to a fantasy football draft. Like, there's an Eagles somewhere in, like, the next 20 players available, and he overdrafts the Eagles. He's always like, yeah,
exactly.
There's a lot of fantasy football owners upset today. I would say if you're an Eagles fan, being concerned about the offense today is fine. Being upset, I question whether or not you had a couple prop bets.
Yeah.
You know, everyone saw the A.J. Brown week 1. Everyone was like, all right, week 2, they're going to go to him.
And they did target him quite a bit, but it was the manner in which that he was targeted. It was the...
Yeah. Our good friend Corey checked in with this. NextGen Stats here. Ran a slant route on 29% of his total routes yesterday, highest rate in a game in his career. Ran in-breaking route a career high, 48.9% of his routes for the first 2 games of the season. They have to be more creative with one of the best receivers in football. Point blank.
I don't know that anyone is going to argue that. Kevin Patullo can't argue that. A.J. Brown's not going to argue that. Jalen Hurts can't. The thing is, there's no there's no antithesis of it, right? No one's saying like, well, if it worked technically, but no, that's not. And it's not just because you want to see flashiness. It's because of the way that it does open up the rest of the offense. But two, you enable this to become more of a downfield offense, and you're raising everything to the next level. Like, it's just there's ladders to the offense, and right now you're only on like the first and second rung, and there's just no need for that.
And you would expect with the in-house hires saying that he knows everything that we do here that they would be at a higher level. They're just not right now.
Yep.
Coming up, we're going to look at the level in which the rest of the NFL's at. Besides the Birds at 11:30, 5 games that stuck out to me, and of course we'll continue to react at something. By the way, I'm going to need the morning boys to do something for me on Wednesday. All right? Kincade and Salciunas, I think you're driving home at this point. I need a favor from you. I'm going to ask that favor you coming up later in the 11 o'clock hour because I saw something on Twitter today from Get Up on ESPN that I'm going to need them to address later this week. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's Victory Monday. I'm Sean Rodman, and it wasn't pretty yesterday for the Birds on offense. Nick Sirianni was asked post-game on the style of the Eagles' win.
Our job, especially early in the season, is, and what I've said constantly to the team, is find a way to win. Take pride in winning any way that you possibly can. Work to get better throughout the week. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
The defense, on the other hand, held the Chiefs' offense to just 17 points yesterday, with rookie Drew Makuba having an interception off Patrick Mahomes in the red zone that helped the Eagles go up 2 scores the following drive. Jalen Carter was seen grabbing around his wrist during the game. He told the media postgame that it was a stinger and he was never going to come out of the game. We'll keep an eye out on the injury report on Wednesday to see if he's on it. The Phillies clinched a playoff berth yesterday as well, with the Giants' loss to the Dodgers, but the magic number is still at 1 for the NL East. The Phillies can clinch the division tonight as the team starts a 3-game series in LA against the Dodgers. Ranger Suarez gets a start for the Phillies tonight, and Emmett Sheehan for the Dodgers. First pitch is at 10:10. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Looking for an exceptional driving experience? Experience the power, precision, and intelligence of an iconic Mercedes-Benz SUV at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
This is your wheelhouse, too. Offensive line. How do you think Tyler Steen looked as the starting right guard?
I mean, it's like he started all last year. He had a phenomenal game. He showed presence out there. He wasn't just in there filling in. He showed that I wanted a position. He was, very, very explosive out there. He put his hands on people. He was moving people. He looked like a day one starter, like he should have been there last year. I was totally impressed on Tyler Steen and how he approached this game. I mean, kudos to, Coach Stoutland making sure he's ready to play. And I tell you what, I had rave reviews for him all through the post game, the other night, and just the way he played. So big ups to him going out there and really showing and imposing his will on that offense as an offensive lineman.
teams kind of looking at the Phillies when it comes to playoff baseball?
Know how people here look at the Phillies, but I also get to hear how people on the outside look at them. And here's the phrase that GM-type figures in two front offices use to describe them to me just in the last few weeks. They both said, that's the best team we played all year. And these are two guys, their teams they both have winning records, so they're not just saying that. One of them said to me, when he looks at the Mets, he sees a team that isn't that different from his team or any of these teams in this pack. But when he looks at the Phillies, he sees a team that runs a starting pitcher out there every night, or just about every night, that's better than his team's pitcher and better than most teams' pitcher. And that's still true even without Zach Wheeler, which really opened my eyes. He said he told the other guys in his front office, he said, you know what, I think we've got a nice team. But when I look at that team, that's the varsity, and the rest of us are the JV. And the other thing is the numbers bear that out. The Phillies have won more series against teams with winning records than any other team in baseball.
This is your wheelhouse, too. Offensive line. How do you think Tyler Steen looked as the starting right guard?
I mean, it's like he started all last.
Oh, welcome back in to the Midday Show alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. An hour and 20 minutes. That's what it took for the Jalen Hurts conversation to break out our YouTube chat. I'm just watching as it goes along here.
I need to check into it.
Yep,
Sorry.
there it goes. Inevitably, Josh Allen's been brought up. I don't know why Josh Allen gets brought up. We're very clear on this program.
See, now I'm coming in late, so I've got to scroll back. I don't have time.
Josh Allen is a part of the core four. I've been very clear about that. There are 4 quarterbacks that I believe are above Jalen Hurts in football. You guys debating Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, to me, I don't know why. It's not something this program's getting into. And listen, part of them being risk averse has to do with Jalen Hurts. That's okay.
And that's when they talked about, and you heard Nick Sirianni, we played it, talked about last year. Remember last year? I do remember last year. I remember that there was a few more wrinkles to start the season with the offense, and then you backed off of it because he was not – it didn't look good. It wasn't successful. Jalen Hurts was making some mistakes. There were some miscues. So it was like, you know what? We're going to simplify this down. And then they kind of eventually ramped it back up a smidge. But then Saquon was already going crazy, so.
And the biggest thing you could say that since that bye, they've won what? 19 to 20? So, like, they figured out a way that wins. I'm just saying it's not sustainable, the lack of explosive plays. Okay, you generate explosive plays through the running game and the passing game last year. Running game generated more than I think any other running game I've ever watched in my life generate explosive plays. Like that was a part of what you did last year.
I think against the Rams last year, Saquon was like, he was ripping off 20 and 30-yarders.
Right, and it's not like, oh, I think Saquon's washed, or, oh, I think that Jalen can't throw the ball down the field. It's that you just have not yet, as an offense, shown us this year the ability to do that. Where I was wrong, I'll put my hand up. I said that they wouldn't win this game with with only one pass beyond 10 yards. I was wrong. They were able to do that.
Sure did.
Some way, somehow. I was sitting there at the end of that game like, please, find a second one. Find a second one. So technically I could be right, even though I would be right in the wrong way.
Just the one.
Just the one. They were able to do it. All right. They weren't the only team that played yesterday. There were other NFL games. And that brings us to Besides the Birds. Let's start out in Jerry's world. Let Russ cook. Mr. Unlimited finally met his neighbors and had the Giants on track to deliver the most surprising day in Dallas since Luka got traded. 450 yards through the air for Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott with 361 of his own. The two sides played overtime. It's Aubrey Graham, and I'm not talking about Drake. Both kickers entered overtime with 3 field goals made. But it's Aubrey who beat the Graham and got the chance to kick the game winner, 40-37 Dallas. Here's the Cowboys hyping up their kicker postgame.
Hey, and this son of a gun, man, this field goal kicker, I'll tell you. Hey, 51-yard field goal. Yeah. 44-yard field goal. Yeah. 64-yard field goal. Yeah. Wait, in overtime with the walk-off. 36 yards. Yeah.
I'm begging you, go back and watch that video and look at Jerry Jones in the background.
It's just
absolutely no idea how to get hype, but it's hilarious to watch him try and get excited.
It's like he doesn't know where he is, kind of. He does, but he doesn't. He's like, I'm excited, but I'm not. What's happening?
Yeah, what's happening around me right now?
He's looking around.
He's never been in one of those post-game locker room celebrations. From Dallas to Detroit, Ben Johnson's return to Detroit. Jared Goff won the breakup, putting up 52 points, throwing for 5 touchdowns in front of his old offensive coordinator. Big shots at Jameson, both the offensive game plan for the Lions and also what Irish folks in Chicago are going to need all season long watching this Bears team. Here's Jameson Williams with a long touchdown in the 52-21 win for the Lions over the Bears.
We're down at 8. Goff going deep. Williams, touchdown!
How about the Birds' next opponent here? The Rams. Usually when there's reports of stars from L.A. throwing around things in Nashville, they go right to Morgan Wallen's bar to figure out what's going on. But it was Matthew Stafford and the Rams throwing for nearly 300 yards over the Titans. Puka might be what you do on a Sunday morning after a big night out on Broadway. But Nakua with 8 catches. His new running mate, Devontae Adams, found the end zone for the first time this season. The Rams win 33-19.
Stafford tosses, end zone, touchdown, Devontae Adams. Stafford hits him in stride for the score.
All right, where else should we go here? AFC North. We can talk about Joe and the turf toe, talk about the other Joe and just looking old, but let's go to Pittsburgh and talk about the Steelers. Rodgers tossing 2 picks. Caleb Johnson learns about the kickoff rule at the worst possible time for the Steelers. Tomlin's crew made more poor choices than a college kid on a Saturday night on Sansom Street. Here's why I call him Kenneth Runner. Kenneth Walker sealing the victory for the Seahawks over the Steelers.
And they're going to keep it conservative for Myers. Walker on the run. He may bust a touchdown. He will!
And finally, the sequel of Indiana Jones. Danny showing a Denver audience that dimes aren't just a bag. Colts come from behind in a wild way to win 29-28 over the Broncos. A penalty on Denver during the initial 60-yard game-winning field goal attempt, which was missed, sets up a 45-yarder from Spencer Schrader and the opportunity for the Colts to win.
Spencer Schrader. It's good, and the Colts have won.
And that is your 5 games around here. The Dallas getting the 40-37 victory. Jameson Williams, Jared Goff going all over the Bears in a 52-21 win. The Rams beat the Titans 33-19. Steelers falling 31-17 to that Seahawks team. And the Colts, I feel for a guy in the back there, Brandon Dutz, our YouTube producer. His Broncos, so close, yet so far.
Everybody thought that they were the team of destiny, the magical team this year.
They're
so excited. They were the most positive of all the teams. Did you see that report that came out?
Yeah. Well,
they were the most positive.
It had been a while.
99% though. 99% of their fan base polled said they were had a very positive outlook on the season.
Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock. I'm trying to think who else was patchwork in there that they tried to sell that fan base. Like
Brock
Osweiler. They had a real type. Did you realize that towards the end there for Elway? Elway got carried away. If you were 6'7", he was kind of like a woman on a dating app. Like the taller you were as a quarterback, he was like, yeah, sign me up. They had 3, 6'7" quarterbacks. None of them were good.
None of it worked out, but he kept going to the same well, shockingly, just like a toxic relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming up, we'll get back to the Birds. And what did Adam Schefter say on Get Up about when this Eagles-Chiefs game was lost? Is he a little upset about Tush Push? Morning, fellas. I got a question for you for Wednesday. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Take you to the midday show here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware.
This is your wheelhouse, too. Offensive line. How do you think Tyler Steen looked as the starting right guard?
I mean, it's like he started all last year. He had a phenomenal game. He showed presence out there. He wasn't just in there filling in. He showed that I wanted a position. He was, very, very explosive out there. He put his hands on people. He was moving people. He looked like a day one starter, like he should have been there last year. I was totally impressed on Tyler Steen and how he approached this game. I mean, kudos to, Coach Stoutland making sure he's ready to play. And I tell you what, I had rave reviews for him all through the postgame, the other night, and just the way he played. So big ups to him going out there and really showing and imposing his will on that offense as an offensive lineman.
How are teams kind of looking at the Phillies when it comes to playoff baseball?
Know how people here look at the Phillies, but I also get to hear how people on the outside look at them. And here's the phrase that GM-type figures in two front offices use to describe them to me just in the last few weeks. They both said, that's the best team we played all year. And these are two guys, their teams they both have winning records, so they're not just saying that. One of them said to me, when he looks at the Mets, he sees a team that isn't that different from his team or any of these teams in this pack. But when he looks at the Phillies, he sees a team that runs a starting pitcher out there every night, or just about every night, that's better than his team's pitcher and better than most teams' pitcher. And that's still true even without Zach Wheeler, which really opened my eyes. He said he told the other guys in his front office, he said, you know what, I think we've got a nice team. But when I look at that team, that's the varsity, and the rest of us are the JV. And the other thing is the numbers bear that out. The Phillies have won more series against teams with winning records than any other team in baseball.
Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. NextGen Stats here from yesterday. Chiefs blitz Jalen Hurts 16 of his 25 dropbacks, 64%. Highest blitz rate under Spags since 2019. Hurts minimized that pressure with a 2.11 second time to throw against the blitz, quickest of his career. Now, some of the answers here. I see 5 passes behind the line of scrimmage. I see most of them. I mean, there were only 3 attempts beyond 10 yards. that, again, I understand they're getting blitz. Problem is, the answers, I feel like I'm 2023. Answers to the blitz, and like the screens, there was not a ton where I was like, oh, that screen really broke a blitz there. Like, that's going to go for a big gain here. Like, there was one, I think, to Devontae, where Devontae after the catch, I was like, okay,
right.
Yeah, that's good. Otherwise, he was able to slow down the blitz in terms of getting the ball out. He only took 2 sacks against that Chiefs front, which I know was a big talking point in the old YouTube chat back last week. But my issue is, again, I didn't think there were a lot of creative answers. And you can absolutely say part of being in the fold here is how risk-averse Hurts has become.
Right.
That's a part of what this offense has become. It's not the only part. Just like if you think it's only Patullo, you're probably kidding yourself, because I think that there is a portion of Hurts. It's like, I can win this way. We keep winning this way. Why change it? I mean, you heard him. Let's, just for the people that didn't hear it earlier or haven't seen it on social media. Not everyone's on social media. Some people missed this. Hot mic moment. Chris Jones.
That's good stuff.
Jalen Hurts. At the end of the game, Jones wants to let him know, hey, man, you didn't even have 100 yards. Yeah. Hurts wants to let him know, hey, man, go look at the scoreboard. We won the bleeping game. Take a seat.
Sit on it.
Hey, good for him. Good for Hurts in that back and forth. And that's, I mean, I think that's the mentality he has. Does everyone on that offense feel that way right now? Probably not. But for Hurts, he's like, hey, man, I'm 2-0. 2-0. You got to stack these September wins.
And that's the thing. I think it does look, the offense is very vanilla. I do think they're still working the kinks out. I feel like maybe after like the 3rd or 4 week period, then I'm ready to be like, all right, what do you,
right?
Why are you risk averse as a whole? I get that you had to adjust last year because there was too much risk taking and it was not paying off. That's the thing. You can be risky and have it not pay off, and you're like, well, I'm not going to do that. So is it a whole mentality now? Is it just too simplified? Because then what's the point of having all these fun toys in the chest if you never get to play with the toys?
Absolutely. Now, one of the weapons that this Eagles team has is the tush push. We saw it utilized a number of times yesterday. There was a touchdown that wasn't a touchdown. Then there was the 4th down that was a touchdown. And then everyone was upset about the false starts. No one talked about the hands across the line. And then Dean Blandino said that he was done with it, openly, just on a broadcast. Adam Schefter today was on Get Up, reacting to Week 2. Adam Schefter, of course, joins Kincade Salciunas every Wednesday. Here's what Schefter had to say about when this Eagles-Chiefs game was won yesterday.
The biggest thing here to me is that this game was lost in March. This game was lost when the NFL owners refused to ban the tush push from happening. It wasn't lost yesterday. It was lost in March. And there might be a lot of games that the Eagles play that are lost in March because this play is unstoppable. It not only does the defense not know how to handle it, but even the officials don't even know how to handle it. You're seeing the Eagles linemen jump off sides every play, and nothing's called.
It's a false start.
So the officials have no idea. Defenses have no idea, and the Eagles get to do whatever they want on every single play in the tush push. And again, I know people hate it, but they have mastered it.
Well, right there at the end.
People hate it. It seems like he hates it.
Right there at the end, he's able to curb the despising of the play by saying, hey, at least they've mastered it. But I'll just say, Wednesday, 8 o'clock hour, Kincade and Salciunas, they talk to Adam Schefter every week. I'm just asking you, Kincade Salciunas, I would like perspective from Schefter on what he feels about the tush push. Because you could say it had a part in that game. You would be right. To suggest that the tush push was the reason that the ball fell out of Travis Kelce's hands, to suggest that the tush push was the reason that Mahomes missed open receivers, to suggest that the Eagles did not move the ball without the tush push, I think is a little oversimplification of what happened yesterday. That's all I'm saying. And by the way, everybody's looking for the false starts for the Eagles. Let's not pretend that we have not seen defensive players go to crazy lengths to try and slow that down. Like, yeah, you probably have to call that. But if the refs have decided they're not calling anything, then they've decided chaos rules the day. That's not my problem. That's their problem.
It is their problem.
You're the referees.
It's illegal. And the only thing that I agreed with him in his entire little rant there is that the refs don't know how to call it. I think that's true. But that's on the refs. This is not a play that was generated yesterday or last year or the year before that. or the year before that.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it's just a hybrid of the quarterback sneak, right? It's just a little fancier version of that, and the way that they operate with the pushing and the wedge that's at the front. If you don't know how to call it by now, that's on you, referee. And I agree. I don't think they do know how to call it. I think that they have no idea what they're looking at, so they let it happen, and then they kind of try to figure it out afterwards, which is what we saw yesterday with the review. And I'm like, everybody on the Brothers saw that was a touchdown, and yet we're staring at it for 5 minutes, and then we're going to do it again.
Yep. And then, now we're mad at it. It was a touchdown before. We didn't have to get mad at the second play.
And it's also like it's an unstoppable play. I mean, it is a stoppable play.
It didn't look good yesterday. It didn't. It was not its finest hour.
No.
And I don't think it's had its finest hour yet this year. Like, it's a unstoppable play thing.
It's a stoppable play.
They moved forward with it, but sometimes they weren't moving as forward as they needed to. Like, I don't think it was this infallible play yesterday. I don't think it's looked that way with this group yet. So
And other teams run it. The Bills ran it at least twice in the week one.
Mar with a really good point here, too. Chiefs fans crying over non-calls is quite ironic.
That's true.
All right, let's sneak in our guy, Dr. Matt L., for his take on that first game. Greg from Bethlehem, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Morning, guys. I think I discovered the reason that we didn't see explosive plays yesterday. I think maybe Kevin Patullo has all the explosive plays on the back of the play card, and he forgot to turn it over. It was way too conservative for me, and I don't think you can necessarily blame it on the Chiefs' defense, although certainly that was part of it. They talked about the passing game evolving, and it
hasn't looked that way yet.
I guess you would have to say so far it's devolved.
Yeah, I mean, I think devolved is probably the right word. The entire offense looks like it's devolved from a season ago. If you're talking about an evolution of an offense, it looks like if you wanted them to pick up where they left off Super Bowl, it doesn't look like that. If you want them to pick up where they left off in the Rams divisional game, I think you would even say you probably have taken a step back from that point. Now, it is September, but it's the way it looks so far.
Well, I mean, it's all well and good to say it's early, and it is. It really should be preseason for the starters, but you would think they would have made some attempts, even if they didn't connect.
Yeah,
and
only 3 of them. Only 3 of them beyond 10 yards. I mean, that's a big piece of this whole thing. It's only 3 of them beyond 10 yards.
And that's why it also looks that way. Like when you're talking about, like, you felt like you grinded it out. It wasn't like there was a bunch of attempts like they just didn't work out or they were broken up or batted down, any of that stuff. It wasn't. There wasn't even the look of it.
Over a third of the league scored 30 points so far this season. Like, with the weapons that you have, I understand, like the new preseason, but over a third of the league has scored 30 points already. You have a better, more talented team than pretty much anyone that's going to put out there. I'd like to see it look a little bit better for you early on here. I know a lot of people watched it yesterday. Russell Wilson cooked that Cowboys defense. Like, what? Where was that? Week 1. To be fair, you cooked them before the weather delay. Post-weather delay, I think we can officially throw out as like that was not real football.
No, I don't know what that was.
That was nothing. All right, coming up, NFL Notes at noon. Sean Rodman's got you with that coming up at noon. More of your reaction to the game. And we touched on it a little bit there about why the Chiefs lost the game. Coming up in the 12 o'clock hour. How much of the Eagles' success early on has been the failure of the opponents? We'll explain. We'll get to it. She's Amy Thruel. I'm Ray Dunn. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's Victory Monday. I'm Sean Rodman, and it wasn't pretty yesterday for the Birds offense. Nick Sirianni was asked post-game on the style of the Eagles' win.
Our job, especially early in the season, is, and what I've said constantly to the team, is find a way to win. Take pride in winning any way that you possibly can. Work to get better throughout the week. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
The defense, on the other hand, held the Chiefs' offense to just 17 points with help from rookie safety Drew Makuba, who had an interception off Patrick Mahomes in the red zone that helped have the Eagles go up 2 scores on the following drive. Jalen Carter was seen grabbing around his wrist area in the game. He told the media post-game that it was a stinger and he was never going to come out of that game. We'll keep an eye out on the injury report for Jalen Carter this week. The Phillies clinched a playoff berth yesterday with the Giants' loss to the Dodgers, but the magic number for the NL East is down to 1 still. Phillies can clinch the division tonight as the team starts a 3-game series in LA against the Dodgers. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phillies tonight and Emmett Sheehan for the Dodgers. First pitch is at 10:10. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sports books, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
This is your wheelhouse, too. Offensive line. How do you think Tyler Steen looked as the starting right guard?
I mean, it's like he started all last year. He had a phenomenal game. He showed presence out there. He wasn't just in there filling in. He showed that I wanted a position. He was, very, very explosive out there. He put his hands on people. He was moving people. He looked like a day one starter, like he should have been there last year. I was totally impressed on Tyler Steen and how he approached this game. I mean, kudos to, Coach Stoutland making sure he's ready to play. And I tell you what, I had rave reviews for him all through the postgame, the other night, and just the way he played. So big ups to him going out there and really showing and imposing his will on that office as an offensive lineman.
How are teams kind of looking at the Phillies when it comes to playoff baseball?
Know how people here look at the Phillies, but I also get to hear how people on the outside look at them. And here's the phrase that GM-type figures in 2 front offices use to describe them to me just in the last few weeks. They both said, that's the best team we played all year. And these are 2 guys, their teams they both have winning records, so they're not just saying that. One of them said to me, when he looks at the Mets, he sees a team that isn't that different from his team or any of these teams in this pack. But when he looks at the Phillies, he sees a team that runs a starting pitcher out there every night, or just about every night, that's better than his team's pitcher and better than most teams' pitcher. And that's still true even without Zach Wheeler, which really opened my eyes. He said he told the other guys in his front office, he said, you know what, I think we've got a nice team. But when I look at that team, that's the varsity, and the rest of us are the JV. And the other thing is the numbers bear that out. The Phillies have won more series against teams with winning records than any other team in baseball.
Closing in on the 12 o'clock hour here on the Midday Show on WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia. Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. That's a very fancy way of saying, hey, welcome to the Fanatic Midday Show. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. On this Football Monday, 2-0 Monday here on the Fanatic, and it's brought to you by Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit nopaybryant.com. 2-0. 2-0. The focus is there on it being 2-0. And defensively, you got to give them credit for what they did against Mahomes. I find it a little bit more difficult in my heart to say, yeah, everything there was fantastic, just given the fact that I know they were down Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and, like, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, more name than game at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Travis Kelce, dare I say, more name than game at this point?
I'm not ready to go there just yet. More name than game?
He's on the downside of his career.
I guess depends on, his name is quite big.
Yes, that's fair.
So maybe that's why.
No Taylor. I didn't see Taylor at all throughout the broadcast.
No, not at once.
Weird. Odd. Yeah, here I am. I'm the man watching sports requesting I see more Taylor Swift on my TV.
Wait a minute.
I never had a problem with it. I always thought it was interesting. I was intrigued. She's the biggest pop star in the world.
I never thought it was a weird thing to show. I thought, there it is. It's a fun fan.
I was surprised. I was looking for it. I was like, is she not there? What's going on?
She was there, right?
I guess. You wouldn't know. A lot of people are like, shut up, Ray. They finally did what we wanted. We didn't have to see her react.
There's definitely a section of fan base out there saying, like, what? You wanted to see her?
But his big drop was a big difference in that game, and Silver from Germantown wanted to get in on that, 610-632-0975. Silver, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
E-A-G-L-E-S.
There's the energy today.
That's what we needed.
All this critiquing our team, and we didn't get 100 yards, and we got the W, and we're leading the division, and, what else do you need?
I mean, at some point this season, better semblance of an offense, but for today, not much else. 2-0 is a good way to go.
Yep, exactly.
Not when you got Hurts as your quarterback. The numbers don't matter to them. The only number that matters to them is the win.
And that is perfectly fine. As long as they continue to win, I'm okay having the side conversation about where's the offense.
The passing game wasn't really as bad as people try to make it seem. He was blitzing him every play almost.
He was blitzing him every play. The thing is, you have to have an answer to what's happening. And what they didn't have yesterday was, I would say, substantial enough answers on that offense to generate more with the talent that they have.
Right, but Goddard was hurt, so that's a big part of the reason why we couldn't get the ball downfield through the passing game as much. Your number one tight end is out, so
Yeah, you still got AJ and Devontae, though, Silver. I'm not trying to take the shine of the day. I appreciate you being fired up about being 2-0.
AJ Brown got 10 targets. He got 10 targets yesterday.
8.
So.
Listen, they tried to get him the ball.
They did?
They tried to get him the
Just
ball.
not in a very creative way, but
and
they did.
I'm not here to crush someone's Monday. We got the Eagles chant. Silver's feeling himself. They beat the Chiefs. That's great. I think I've tried to bring that caveat every single time. That was a very impressive win yesterday.
Yeah.
What it brings out, though, is the conversation about where it goes from here. You're 2-0. That's beautiful. The Eagles are over 500 for the first time in franchise history, right? That's the stat we were fed here, Sean Rodman. Over 500 for the first time in franchise history. That's an amazing thing. You know how many bad years you had to build back up to this point? That's beautiful. We should celebrate it. 2-0, we should celebrate it.
Yep.
But
it's the Super Bowl win that got them over.
Right, so this is regular season-wise.
Correct.
Over 500 regular season-wise.
Correct.
First time in franchise history. That's right. So they've been over 500 for a little bit now.
For 3
weeks.
whole games.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's basically 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months. You're right. We've been.
I lived through the entire offseason this year. I get credit for that.
You saw it.
Here's what I want to just, as we, again, continue to celebrate the fact they won. Someone tweeted at us. Because I know Brandon did me a little, the captioning of the tweet, definitely left me open for a little bit of criticism here. With the Eagles' lack of explosion plays isn't sustainable. someone responds, if they have plenty of time, as you say, to get the explosive plays going, then why are you complaining? In week 2, after win against the AFC champs with the new offensive coordinator. Geez, give the offense time to adjust and figure it out. We are winning. You answered the entire tweet in the first thing. I said they have time. It's a sustainable September formula to win games. But I'd like to see more explosive plays. That's my takeaway from yesterday. I'm very happy they got the win. We keep mentioning they're 2-0. I'm thrilled about that. But I always love people that, I said it last week, I think there are some people that prefer if we just play the fight song on loop for 4 hours instead of break down the game. And if you want to do that, you can.
And the thing, you can talk critically, constructive criticism about an offense that should look better. It's not that we're saying it needs to look better because we just expect it. The expectations are, and they're the ones that have set them. You have these 2 top receivers. You have an unbelievable offensive line that has been your stalwart for years at this point. You have a quarterback who the head coach says is one of the best deep ball throwers in the entire NFL, and you have the best running back. Do you want to see more than 101 yards?
You brought 10 of 11 starters back, and the coordinator was here last year in the building.
It's not being negative. It's just being like, listen, you want to see more.
I'm asking for something.
Happy with the win, which everyone is.
Yeah, enjoy the win, man. Where is it? Enjoy the win, man. It's somewhere in here.
You just say it. You got
okay, don't worry about it. Enjoy the win, man.
There you go.
There you go. Thanks, Andy.
Andy Reid telling you just to enjoy the win, man. You know what he can't do today? Enjoy the win, man.
No,
all
he
right.
has yet to win.
NFL Notes at noon with Sean Rodman. Hit the music.
Alrighty, let's start in Cincinnati to start, and that is Joe Burrow being out 3 months. I know you touched on it, but his first game that he could potentially be back would be for December 14th at home against the Ravens. That would mean he's going to be missing 11 games. Jake Browning, who's replaced him, went 4-3 in 2023 as the starter for the Bengals. There's been reports that they're calling around for free agent quarterbacks. Will they start calling other teams for a call, and could that be the Eagles as well?
But would you call the Falcons for one Kirk Cousins?
Yes, that's who you would call.
I don't know how it works salary-wise, so if someone doesn't work, I don't know. That's the first thing my mind goes to.
You would
Kirk
try
Cousins.
to make, because that's an actual.
I guess they don't have a lot of money to play with because they were complaining about paying.
They didn't pay Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah. And that's a lot of money to absorb. Like, I don't know how you'd be able to dummy that down. But
you would have to have a more affordable option than Kirk Cousins, unless the Falcons somehow paid all of it.
And no,
Crazy.
I'm not trading Tanner McKee. However, if you want Sam Howell, you have him. Take him.
Is that better than Browning?
Probably not. But if they call for Sam Howell, that's cool. We take him.
They should just go down the road and call Joe Flacco. So you can really make the tour.
Yeah. Then now he's still got the Steelers.
There's an extra. The Giants have an extra couple of quarterbacks.
Oh, Jameis. There you go. That's the call I want them to make. Famous Jameis. Saving the Bengals season.
Imagine?
That chaos with that defense and Jameis Winston, I'm all in. That's it. We've solved it here. Jameis Winston to the Bengals, not for them to win anything, but for my personal enjoyment.
Just for the media entertainment.
Which also brutal for the league in Burrow going down.
I just couldn't believe it. That was a bad one.
All right, what else we got?
Next up, let's head to Detroit. The Detroit Lions beat Ben Johnson, who was returning to Detroit, who's now with the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson was asked post-game on the Lions, and Dan Campbell running up the score.
What's he supposed to do? It's 4th and goal. What do you want him to do? Yeah, he could have kicked the field goal. They don't kick field goals. They go for it there. So he was doing what he was supposed to do. That's what he does.
Hey, man.
He knows it. He was there.
He spent all offseason with the Bears organization. You think he's not going to keep all options open to get jobs in the future?
He's not going to. I mean, he literally was there. He knows exactly how the Lions operate.
Right. But on top of that, what are you going to do? Burn the coach that gave you the...
Yeah.
That would be a bigger story for me. He said the right thing there. Plus, way things have gone. They blew week 1. They got crushed in week 2. He's going to have a long leash there, but...
Job.
Just in case. You always want to keep that pipeline open. You never want to burn anybody in this
industry. You don't criticize any other
industry.
coaches.
You know?
Not unless you don't want a job anymore.
Right. Or you don't have any connection to them.
Did you hear about Brian Branch, the safety for the Lions, his comments as well after the game?
Oh, no, I did not.
He was quoted in his press conference, "We knew coming into this game that this is personal. Really, all the games are personal. But this one, we felt like we've been betrayed. From the staff to the players, and we love Ben. We still love Ben. He's a great coach. He's a great mastermind. But yeah, it was time to get out there."
Betrayed?
Well, I think inside those 4 walls, Campbell definitely went with that guy left us
Just to try to hype him up.
Amon-Ra also said something like that over the offseason.
Because you got a head coaching job.
There's only 32 of them as well.
Yeah. A trade.
Maybe because it was in division.
Oh, it would have been so much better if he went. The Bears
to the
offered
Chargers,
him. Yeah,
right? Like, I don't know. That's an odd flex.
I, to their credit, I would have gone down that path if I was in that locker room. I would have tried to make it personal, just to try and.
This guy left us. Let's show him what he left.
They thought our best days were behind us. They said we were going to miss that Ben Johnson guy. In week 1, we did, but we're going to show them that we're not missing anything. We're not missing anything, men. We're going to go out there and we're going to kick his ass. That would have been the message inside of there for me. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, let's head to Las Vegas.
Thank you. I'm a motivating guy at my time off.
Brock Bowers looked terrific in practice on Saturday, according to Pete Carroll. He's expecting him to play. But now that Brock Bowers had a good rookie year, where do you guys rank him among tight ends in the league?
Interesting. Well, after, if you want to just go off the 1 year he had, he was probably the best in the business.
He was
so
like
he's
top
5.
three.
Yeah, top 3.
Last year he was.
Yeah.
He was incredible. He had an incredible year last year. I don't know. I mean,
they're what? They go down the list here. Laporta, Kelsey,
Trey McBride.
I mean, that's he's got to be top 5.
He's in
If you play fantasy football, you realize the steep drop off of tight end play.
Because there's that second tier. Like Ferguson's in that second tier. I think he's a nice tight end. Kittle was in that conversation for a while, but he's obviously hurt, and I don't think he's really had the same kind of seasons.
Ertz, low-key, has brought himself back into that conversation with the way they rely on him.
That's true. He's very reliable. And they go to him a lot. I guess Brock Bowers would be like a top 5 or 6. That's incredible.
Yeah, top 5. Though they did really like by that first week. They went to him a ton. And I know Bowers was out, but a little bit of Gino's security blanket changing over here. I don't know. But all right. NFL Notes New. 2 games tonight. I'm decisively anti the Monday night doubleheader, by the way.
Because you don't like too much football?
It's supposed to be. It's a standalone game. Let it be a standalone game. You know, I don't necessarily. I get it. The doubleheader, one starts earlier, one starts later. I just one football game on Monday.
Okay.
Please. You know.
No, I like as many as I can get.
Yeah, but then yesterday during the 4:00 window, you had, or was it 4:00? The red zone halftime was legitimately a halftime. There was no action going on. It throws off the entire calendar.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was locked in, and then during halftime, I've got hits to do.
Well, yeah, okay. So
it was a different experience for me.
Amy Fadul, the professional over here.
I was at work.
Coming up, we're going to teach Amy how to be a fan at home.
Some of us work.
Some of us ordered wings
Sundays.
and hung out with our friends during the games yesterday, Amy. All right. Mention this question. How much do you attribute the Eagles' early success to them? And how much do you attribute it to the misfortune of the opponents? A couple of plays go different ways. Are we allowed to think that way?
Maybe.
I'll explain coming up.
All right.
Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colorado. This is your wheelhouse, too. Offensive line. How you think Tyler Steen looked as the starting right guard?
I mean, it's like he started all last year. He had a phenomenal game. He showed presence out there. He wasn't just in there filling in. He showed that I wanted a position. He was, very, very explosive out there. He put his hands on people. He was moving people. He looked like a day one starter, like he should have been there last year. I was totally impressed on Tyler Steen and how he approached this game. I mean, kudos to, Coach Stoutland making sure he's ready to play. And I tell you what, I had rave reviews for him all through the post game, the other night, and just the way he played. So big ups to him going out there and really showing and imposing his will on that offense as an offensive lineman.
teams kind of looking at the Phillies when it comes to playoff baseball?
Know how people here look at the Phillies, but I also get to hear how people on the outside look at them. And here's the phrase that GM-type figures in two front offices use to describe them to me just in the last few weeks. They both said, that's the best team we played all year. And these are two guys, their teams they both have winning records, so they're not just saying that. One of them said to me, when he looks at the Mets, he sees a team that isn't that different from his team or any of these teams in this pack. But when he looks at the Phillies, he sees a team that runs a starting pitcher out there every night, or just about every night, that's better than his team's pitcher and better than most teams' pitcher. And that's still true even without Zach Wheeler, which really opened my eyes. He said he told the other guys in his front office, he said, you know what, I think we've got a nice team. But when I look at that team, that's the varsity, and the rest of us are the JV. And the other thing is the numbers bear that out. The Phillies have won more series against teams with winning records than any other team in baseball.
That's right. Midday show here at 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. Alongside Amy Fiddle, I'm Ray Dunn, hanging out with you here on the Midday Show. 2-0 Eagles. 2-0. 2017. Win the game. To take you where we've been today, just to open up with a conversation of sustainability and where this offense is at. Because for September, hey, I'm cool. You went to Arrowhead. You won a game over the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. You're now 2-0. And this is the September where I saw you winning 2 games. I thought that the way they typically start, the way they started a season ago kind of set the blueprint for me of like, okay, I could see them having a slower start. They have a lot of changes defensively. They're going to try and find their footing those first couple weeks the way they did a year ago. If they start 2-2 against the schedule that includes the reigning AFC champs, the team that gave you the best game in the postseason, and a team that's had your number, I can understand it.
Yeah.
This past weekend. Originally, when we did W's and L's, I had us loss.
I was going to say, I think a lot of people did.
In fact, Tim McManus, our good friend at ESPN, on Friday, validated my entire feelings about the game. I asked him his pick, and he basically whittled down 20 hours worth of content for me last week to a 1-minute soundbite, where he was like, yeah, originally when I had W's and L's, he's like, I looked at this game, revenge factor, Chiefs going to win. But more I look at it, I just think the Eagles are the better team. They're going to get a W. And I was like, wow.
They are.
That was the thesis the entire week. Appreciate you dropping that at 1 o'clock on a Friday for me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of the way I got to the end of the week. I was like, okay, I think they're going to win this game. They did win the game. It was close. It's funny because we make these predictions of close games, and then when we get to the close games, we lose our minds. It's like, I think I had them winning 24-17. That was the score, right? Because, Robin, you copied my score last week? Yes. Yeah. Well, he read my notes. He was like, well, that's
I know
score.
what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's all right, man. It's okay. It's all right. Listen, I didn't make a big fuss about it. I didn't send any emails to like, hey, this guy's, kind of stealing my... I just want to make it on record that you looked at my notes. You came in here. You're eyeing up my notes. You're like, 24-17. Good score. It's all right. Football guy, I was one of the 3 football guys that made the way to the Temple game on Saturday. Me and the Andrews.
True football
guys. True football guys. That's why I can't tell. I think you can see in the YouTube how burned I am. But I think he did a good job of... I was up there. You
were in the sun.
Well, no big deal to us. We had the club seats. So, but that also brings you a little bit higher, closer to the sun.
Yeah, that's true.
And there was no coverage for me.
And you didn't think maybe?
No. It stopped that sentence at pretty much any time in my life. You didn't think? Correct. You are right. You got me there. But me, the Andrews, enjoyed a nice morning before we went over to the game. Tough one for the Owls, but we enjoyed a nice day hanging out. And leading up to the game, that was kind of the feeling that Andrew Salciunas went in, tremendously confident. Checo and I were like, yeah, we're pretty confident in the way this game's going to go. And the game went score-wise similar. I just thought there was going to be so much. I thought that after week one of passing offense-wise, you had to see something change.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. When we're talking about like how you wanted it to look different, just because I don't need A.J. Brown to get 100 yards every single game. I do need have the potential to get it, meaning you have to throw the ball further than these little slants and these curl routes. Like just these little like 7, 8,
again,
5.
Highest percentage of slant routes in his career. His usage through 2 weeks, that's been generally what it's been. You just have to have more creativity. And people are like, well, when's the Hurts part of this conversation? We'll have the Hurts part when he's being as risk-averse as he is. It's letting them win, so you can't have a ton of problems with it. If it starts to become to the detriment of them winning, then I'll be having that conversation. But so much of this is, I didn't even think Kellen Moore had a wildly impressive, creative offense a year ago. It was like, let's ride the Saquon train to, the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly.
His last 2 games as offensive coordinator, part of the reason why he's a head coach right now, because I think he absolutely opened up the book there and really started making things happen for him. I just think that I've seen not enough yet from Patullo, and there's time for him to correct that. It's okay to win in September like this. It's okay to win in October like this. And as long as you're stacking wins, I just get worried that the game plan of we're going to take a lead and then
Just
run
try
it
to
down
hold
on someone.
Exactly. Like prevent offense.
Yeah, might not be as sustainable as it was a year ago. I need more explosive plays. And that, really, they might be able to run the same game plan as a year ago, but without the explosive plays of last year, I'll be concerned that they can turn a game on a dime the way they did before when they'd find themselves trailing, when they find themselves in those close games, because you haven't seen them do that yet. Now, on top of that, there is the thought process. I remember last year, week 2, what if Saquon caught the ball? On the flip side, week 2 this year, what if Travis Kelce caught the ball? What if CeeDee Lamb caught the ball? Now, the Lamb one, I thought that was a very difficult catch at the end of the game.
That was tough.
I understand he's a star receiver, but that was tough, and you kind of put them in the tough bind where that was the only place where they could really put that football for you to win that, for them to win that game. The Kelce one.
I mean, it hit his hands.
That's and I know they're giving Jalen Carter credit for getting his hand on that, maybe just impacting a little bit. Like, that's a catch he makes 98 out of 100 times. If we're downplaying it, good job by Makuba being there. And he's got a knack for being where the football is, and obviously changes the game there. But if we will consistently point to, hey, the Eagles could be X if X had happened in their favor, they also could be, potentially, saying at 1-1, they are the drivers of their success, but they have had some solid fortune here, especially with that Kelce drop.
Yeah, I do wonder, because it was, at the point in the game, then the Eagles then go down and score right away, how much that changes the offensive game plan, if at all. Mm-hmm. You would hope it would become a little bit more aggressive, thinking, all right, if they scored there, took the lead.
Which would then lead me to the idea that...
Do you then open it up a little bit? But why aren't you opening it up in the first place?
You're against Patrick Mahomes. You should be...
So I think, you got to try to score at every opportunity.
You got to be putting up points regardless. That's, that would... It's not that it would upset me if they came back and won that game, but I would be sitting there hey, where was this earlier?
Yeah.
Where could we find this
You
earlier?
had it in your bag. You didn't choose to pull it out, but... Yeah, to your point, if you're going against Patrick Mahomes, you have to try to score as much as possible and at least have these sustained drives. I don't know. It just wasn't. It was a little too vanilla. But we'll see. We'll see if next week if it continues. Then I might be a little bit more okay.
All right, I'm curious for people. How much do you attribute the Eagles' early success to them or the misfortunes of the opponent? Because I think obviously I'm going to attribute more to them because you have to put yourself in a position to capitalize. If Makuba's just out of position there, he's not there to catch the deflection. He's not. He's coming over there to try and get to Kelce.
Right.
So you have to give him credit for being in the right place as much as the misfortune of the team. The CeeDee Lamb example. Again, I think they were forced to put it in that spot where it had to be a tough catch for them to make that catch, to make that play happen. So then you're in a good spot. And plus, giving yourself the lead always leads to this. So it's more to the Eagles' credit, but I would love to see how many people right now feel like, oh, we're very fortunate to be where we are.
Right, because of some mistakes. Chiefs weren't 100% healthy.
We will catch up on our text line at 610-632-0975 with your reaction to this game. Now, we mentioned the complaining about the tush push. How much of this complaining leads us to a change in officiating? Because they have not done a good job officiating it to start. Will they change it going forward? And does that change the effectiveness for this team? Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Take you through middays here at 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Birds start 2-0. I'm Sean Rodman, and it wasn't pretty yesterday for the Birds on offense. Nick Sirianni was asked postgame on the style of the Eagles' win.
Our job, especially early in the season, is, and what I've said constantly to the team, is find a way to win. Take pride in winning any way that you possibly can. Work to get better throughout the week. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
The defense, on the other hand, held the Chiefs' offense to just 17 points, thanks to rookie safety Drew Makuba as well, who had an interception off of Patrick Mahomes in the red zone that helped the Eagles go up 2 scores the following drive. Jalen Carter was seen grabbing at his wrist in the game. He told the media post-game that it was a stinger and he was never going to come out of that game. We'll keep an eye out on him for the injury report when it comes out on Wednesday, as well as Jordan Davis, who left the game and then later returned. The Phillies could clinch today for the NL East with the magic number being at 1. They clinched a playoff berth yesterday with help from the Giants' loss to the Dodgers, and they are back in action tonight when they can clinch the division tonight against the LA Dodgers in LA. Ranger Suarez gets a start for the Phillies tonight, and Emmett Sheehan for the Dodgers. First pitch is at 10:10. This update is brought to you by Aleve. Traffic and body pain can slow you down, but don't let the pain stop you. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief so you can keep moving. Use as directed. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Howie Roseman did something that I think a lot of people sometimes miss. He went ahead of the curve. Defenses have gotten smaller and faster, so he said, okay, let's get a ground game going. Talk about how difficult that might be, trying to either do something different, or a lot of teams go, wait, we have to throw to win, so we're going to build offenses that way. When it comes to building a roster, would you rather try to go with what everybody else is doing, or try to be the person that says, let me try to combat with that with something else?
Well, I'm going to answer that in 3 ways. First and foremost, you're absolutely right about Howie. He does a tremendous job. But I'm also going to credit Jeff Lurie, because when you are the owner, you have ultimate responsibility and ultimate authority, and you can certainly delegate that responsibility and delegate that authority, and he has done so. He picked someone magnificent to whom to give that authority and responsibility, but at the end of the day, the owner is the owner, so credit to Jeff Lurie as well. Number 2, you are talking to the girl who has always and forever been an advocate and a proponent of the run game. Last year when I heard people saying, oh, a rejuvenation of the run game, my brain almost exploded because I have never given up on the running game. Look, football is 11 on 11. That's math, and that's math that even I can do, and I suck at doing math. But if you've got a solid, good, and in the case of the Eagles, tremendous running game, well, guess what? It's going to take defenders on the other team to slow that down, and by definition, that's going to make your quarterback's job easier, your receiver's jobs easier, because if you've got to put attention on a running game, which Eagle opponents did, you're freeing up other people. So I love what he did. That you were able to, and I'm saying you because you're Philadelphians, go out and get the back of the quality you did from a divisional opponent is, well, I'll use my mom's word, wowie.
We have it too much ingrained in us where it's you finally got a franchise that gives you a bully on the block, that gives you one of the greatest teams in all of pro sports. And we got people who want to, yeah, well, you know, the Commanders look good and Jaden Daniels looks good and want to suck their thumbs. I don't get it. I do not get it. I waited my whole damn life to have a team like this, and I refuse to be scared of it. I refuse. Embrace it. I'm not scared of the Commanders. Not in the least. Not in the least.
Howie Roseman did something that I think a lot of people sometimes miss. He went ahead of the
Weekdays here on The Fanatic on this Football Monday. Brought to you by Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit nopaybryant.com. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Sean Robin producing the show, and I want to get some reaction here, okay? The people have been reacting. I want to make sure that we pay off what the people got going on here. Overall, they're 2-0. Good thing. It's a good thing, Amy Fadul.
Not a lot of people can say it.
Not a lot can say. No one in this division can say it, which is why I was absolutely rooting for the Packers on Thursday night to beat the Commanders, because I wanted to be able to say that. I want to have the division, the game in hand for the division. I will say there is a certain morning show producer. That really narrowed it down.
Yeah. There's one.
I meant to say morning show member, but use
well,
your imagination.
Single them out there.
Initials
Use
might
your
be
imagination.
C and T.
They might be. They might be. He might think he's the best athlete of this day. Anyway, so there is a certain person on the morning show that I do pregame with, which also narrows it down, that said yesterday that his overreaction to what he's seen so far is that this division might be in hand. I can't go that far yet. This is September football. What we saw yesterday is September football. We need to all put it in context here. It is nice to have that game in hand, though. He was getting a little carried away on the pregame show yesterday while the Giants and Cowboys were battling it out.
That game was drunk.
As it turns out, the Cowboys defense might still stink. And as it turns out, Russ might still be able to cook a little bit. Might be able to cook a little bit.
Both of those things, I don't know that if one's true, the other one probably isn't. If the Cowboys defense isn't very good.
Against bad defenses, maybe a little bit,
Like an easy bake oven.
Oof. Oh, ouch. Mr. Limited. According to Amy Fadul there. But how are people reacting to the Birds after 2 weeks?
All right. One person checking in wanted to know, is there a way to find out how many second-half points Fangio has led up since coming here? I feel like the most common theme of this team is its second-half defensive adjustments. If it's a one-score game heading into the second half, I have all the confidence in the offense can muster up 7 to 10 points. I find that very comforting knowing the defense will do its job to close out the game. Now, I decided to go through every game from last season playoffs.
And that's the level of producer that you are right there.
For you. It actually, which side would you think it is?
I would think that they are better in the second half, right? I would think that their adjustments are pretty good. Now, of course, they got those BS 22 points at the Super Bowl, which will throw off this average. But please enlighten me on
I
what
recognize the Super Bowl was 40-6. I will not accept anything else.
I'm starting to think 34-0 might be the way that I acknowledge it.
Just I don't acknowledge.
Well, if you take out the Super Bowl, you'd be right. But there was also a couple of times where they let up 20 points in the second half to Jacksonville in Week 9. They also let up 22 at Washington in Week 16 when Jalen Hurts got down. And it's pretty close. And for those of you on YouTube that want to see the work that I did, 206.
No, keep holding that up for the people
206 in first half points allowed for the Eagles defense since Vic Fangio has been here, to 220 since Vic Fangio has been here. In the second half, they've allowed just a few more points.
Interesting.
If you take out that Super Bowl, you want to listen to it listed as 40-6, then you would be right.
There you go.
So, yeah. Okay. So, for narrative purposes, yeah, we're right.
Yeah, for narrative purposes, sure.
That's what I reckon.
Would you add, here's another question for you. How many shutouts did they have in first halves versus second halves for the defense with Vic Fangio?
Well, first half, Super Bowl. There's
Right.
one shutout, so count that. I would say there's more second half shutouts.
Yeah, because the Cowboys was a second half shutout.
You would be incorrect again.
Really?
4 first half shutouts to 3 second half shutouts.
Well, that's close.
First half, you had Jacksonville, you had the Giants in Week 18, the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round, and the Super Bowl.
Right.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask for that piece of paper. I'm going to actually want you to sign it. I'll probably put it up in my at-home office. But on top of that, I'm going to take that paper from you so that I can then go through and say what games to me count. Like you know what I'm saying? Like the Giants Week 18, like, okay, am I going to let that be an outlier for one of the two sides? But it's fantastic work by you there because I would have absolutely accepted that the second half they make adjustments.
I have one more for you.
Oh, wow. He is on fire.
He's on fire.
Do you think that the Eagles let up more points in this, or let up fewer points in the second half than in the amount of games? There's 23 games. So how many times do they have fewer points against them
in the second half as
versus
compared to
the first half?
23 games. Let's go with
Give me,
13.
I'm going to say like 11 and 12.
13.
Amy, which number would you prefer?
I'm going to give me 11.
The answer would be right in the middle, number 12.
Oh.
12 out of 23 games, so just above 50%.
Closest without going over.
That's not, no one called Price is Right rules.
It's always Price is Right rules. Around here, it's always Price is Right rules.
Right, didn't you technically go over then?
Yes, you
You had
did.
13, so you lost.
Boom,
That's right.
I win. Yay, always Price is Right rules.
He can't do math.
I was like, I don't know what's happening. I think we thought it was,
Closest without, closest. I was right somehow. I don't know. Let me spin that in a different way.
That's not accurate. That's interesting. I knew it would be close. I knew it would be like it's 12 versus 11. But
let's just say it. That guy, Vic Fangio, knows what he's doing. I don't necessarily believe totally in the talent that he's got right now. Still worried about that second corner spot. There were a couple Makuba moments that were not great. He did end up making up for it, obviously, with that interception. The linebacker room, I think about just what he's done to revolutionize that. Zadarius Smith getting here and having the impact he did week 1. That Vic Fangio knows what he's doing. Also, that defense looks a lot better when they've got Jalen Carter, huh? Like, kind of crazy how that works.
You knew you knew it was going to happen. Jalen Carter is a core member, if not the member of that front four. Like that is just, you had to have him. But he makes every other piece work so much better. And you saw that. But and that trickles down to all the way, and we talked about it last week. The lack of any kind of pass rush or pressure really puts a lot of pressure on the back end of that defense, which was not able to sustain it last week.
Right.
And then now that you had it, not that Jackson looked that much better, but he wasn't as much on an island.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need.
They
still need to figure that out.
Also,
I do think Jacorian Bennett's going to be the guy.
Vic Fangio going from no blitzes in the Super Bowl to
like just
letting it fly. Like he just.
Well, Spags, you said that was the most he's blitzed too, right?
Yeah. I mean, but Fangio there, the adjustment to keep them off balance and not let Reed get comfortable.
He went no blitz in the Super Bowl and all blitz in this game.
All right, let's get another text in here.
All right, another person checking in saying his observations. The offense really missed Goddard in the passing and running game. Referees made a few calls and non-calls that kept the Chiefs in the game. And how did they leave Thornton open on that touchdown pass?
Dude, that
was.
I'm so glad this is the first that's come up today.
That was tough.
By the way,
he was wide open.
We're talking about people that were in that secondary in charge of that one. I understand you got clipped by your teammate, but
you gotta recover better than that.
Jacorian Bennett, you get ready to play. But all right, coming up, I mentioned this tush push thing. Also, there's a man on the line that's been very mature since he's called in the last couple weeks. Been very off-putting, but he's got concerns about this passing game. And I'm so curious because whenever everyone zigs, Ish zags.
That's right.
And if he's zigging with everyone else, should we really all just be concerned about the passing game and freak out? I don't know. Very concerning caller on the line.
He's agreeing with it.
Yeah, I don't know. And this tush push thing. We'll play you Dean Blandino again. Schefter talked about today on Get Up. Are we going to see this officiated differently, and can it impact the Eagles? Alongside Amy Fidul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider Update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Birds start the year 2-0. I'm Sean Rodman, and the Birds won the Super Bowl 59 rematch, and it looked a bit different in this one. The Eagles' offense looked a little vanilla at times, with only one play for only over 20 yards or more, coming from a 28-yard pass from Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith late in the game. Jalen Hurts was efficient and did not turn the ball over. He spoke post-game on the most important thing.
I think that's the most important thing is finding a way to win. And as a team, we showed up when we needed to the most. And that's the most important thing in this league is finding ways to win.
Well, the Eagles' defense showed up, too, and now they were able to force a turnover on Patrick Mahomes with an interception by Drew Makuba on the goal line. Jalen Carter was seen grabbing his hand near the end of that game, and he was able to play. He told the media that it was just a stinger, and it was going to keep him out there. We'll see if that limits him at practice this week. Jordan Davis also left the game and returned, and we'll see if he is able to go to practice this week as well. The Eagles host the Rams this week in a playoff rematch. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Howie Roseman did something that I think a lot of people sometimes miss. He went ahead of the curve. Defenses have gotten smaller and faster, so he said, okay, let's get a ground game going. Talk about how difficult that might be, trying to either do something different, or a lot of teams go, wait, we have to throw to win, so we're going to build offenses that way. When it comes to building a roster, would you rather try to go with what everybody else is doing, or try to be the person that says, let me try to combat with that with something else?
Well, I'm going to answer that in three ways. First and foremost, you're absolutely right about Howie. He does a tremendous job. But I'm also going to credit Jeff Lurie, because when you are the owner, you have ultimate responsibility and ultimate authority, and you can certainly delegate that responsibility and delegate that authority, and he has done so. He picked someone magnificent to whom to give that authority and responsibility, but at the end of the day, the owner is the owner, so credit to Jeff Lurie as well. Number two, you are talking to the girl who has always and forever been an advocate and a proponent of the run game. Last year when I heard people saying, oh, a rejuvenation of the run game, my brain almost exploded because I have never given up on the running game. Look, football is 11 on 11. That's math, and that's math that even I can do, and I suck at doing math. But if you've got a solid, good, and in the case of the Eagles, tremendous running game, well, guess what? It's going to take defenders on the other team to slow that down, and by definition, that's going to make your quarterback's job easier, your receiver's jobs easier, because if you've got to put attention on a running game, which Eagle opponents did, you're freeing up other people. So I love what he did. That you were able to, and I'm saying you because you're Philadelphians, go out and get the back of the quality you did from a divisional opponent is, well, I'll use my mom's word, wowie.
We have it too much ingrained in us where it's you finally got a franchise that gives you a bully on the block, that gives you one of the greatest teams in all of pro sports, And we got people who want to, yeah, well, you know, the Commanders look good and Jaden Daniels looks good and want to suck their thumbs. I don't get it. I do not get it. I waited my whole damn life to have a team like this, and I refuse to be scared of it. I refuse. Embrace it. I'm not scared of the Commanders. Not in the least. Not in the least.
2-0. Don't forget it. 2-0. Eagles unbeaten through 2 weeks of the season alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. This team is just not, I don't want to say too good because then you're like not great for what you have, but like they just are too good.
They're they're talented.
Yeah. For like our own good. Like we're sitting here talking about a passing game and it's like, yeah, they don't even need it. Like they need it eventually. To do the ultimate thing, they need some semblance of it. You saw it championship game, Super Bowl last year. Like to really put on the performances that you did, you need it at some point. But like you don't need it in September. They're that good where they're just gonna find ways to win. And that's the crazy thing about this. I've wanted my very short but whole life, to be that team where it's like you're watching on Sunday and you're watching as a fan of just like a random team. You're like, oh God, this team's gonna find a way to do it again, aren't they? Like this sucks. Like as a national fan of the sport,
and that was the thing. You did think that, like, we're doing this again?
Yeah, and I'm watching it yesterday. I'm like, this rocks. Like at the end, you're like, this is just great. Like I have that team. That team is now mine. They're the boogeyman.
They're the team that just finds a way to win. It might not look pretty to some people, but at the end of the day, who cares?
Right. They are the team that everyone else is like,
here they come.
Bleep. Like
they're just
this
gonna find.
This team's gonna find a way to do it.
They'll just do it. It won't look pretty. And we're gonna stop them in every aspect. We're gonna limit Saquon Barkley. We're gonna shut down A.J. Brown. And wait a minute, we still lost?
They are like there's a family sitting down to dinner in Cincinnati, having gross skyline chili, and they are livid about what happened with Joe Burrow, and they're just looking at each other like, those damn Eagles are gonna figure it out again, aren't they? That's a beautiful thing. It leads to people hating you. We're going to play Blandino again for you because the Fox broadcast, you talk 8 times a game. Maybe take advantage of it and do your job. But first, those concerns over the passing game, a big feature of the reaction today from the listeners. That includes our caller, Ish from Levittown. Ish, hello. How are you?
Hey, Ray. How are you? Hi, Ray. Amy, how are you?
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I want to talk about the passing game and the running game, basically. I don't know if you guys have the same fear as me. I don't want them to run Saquon Barkley into the ground. I think he got too many carries yesterday between last week's game and this week's game. And with the passing game, I think we do have to give A.J. Brown the ball more. I think that has to be a concern because you have to start dissecting about the way they're winning. You don't want them to, be too comfortable in the game with not giving A.J. Brown the ball because that can start leading to complaints and, a dysfunction amongst the teammates. So just improving on the passing game and, the running game, I think we have to start.
Too many touches for Saquon Barkley?
Yes. I said it yesterday on my Instagram, which people could follow me, Ish versus Ishmael.
Whoa.
Is that a shameless plug?
Ish, when did you become a content creator around here?
Plug.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've been a content creator for a little bit, but that's my concerns along with Saquon Barkley. Those are the two major things: Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, with giving him the ball and less carries for Saquon. Put A.J. Dillon in. They both got the same running type styles, but Saquon's a little more explosive. So
I wouldn't say a little bit more.
Those are my concerns.
A lot of bit more.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm so thrown off by Ish being a content guy. Have we been giving him free content this whole time? Someone go check out that Instagram.
That's the first time that I've heard him plug the Instagram.
Yeah, somebody pull that audio. Get me the Instagram account. We got to figure out whether or not we've been handing Ish free content this entire time. I need to know that the audio you hear on this station, the express written, what's the rights thing they say? All that belongs to Beasley Media.
Yeah.
You best not be posting those calls, Ish. We're coming after you. Has he been? Could you imagine all those bits against me that have just been posted on Instagram,
that's all he does.
stored somewhere?
Every time he calls you the wrong name.
Yeah. Wow. But in terms of Saquon usage, 22 carries, which is about on par with what he was last season per game.
Yep.
18 carries the first game. Again, slightly lower than what he had last year. Like 25, 26, 27 touches a game is what you would expect for him. And that's why they didn't do a ton for him in the offseason, why they didn't do a ton for him or anything in the preseason. They wanted to keep him fresh. He thinks he can handle that workload. He's going to handle that workload, and we're going to see how it goes. I mean, I thought that 9-yard run at the end of the game was as impressive as anything that happened.
Yeah.
That you needed that. Now,
I thought he had a chance to get a little bit more, and maybe if he had gotten more on some of those runs, you wouldn't have used him as much.
well, yeah, and that's also, again, explosive plays. None of them. Running, passing, you didn't have them. Now, one thing that never will produce an explosive play, but is a very big play for this team, is the tush push. Dean Blandino, yesterday, we played this earlier for you. I just want to play it again because the officials analyst complaining about having to analyze the officiating is all time for me. Here's Blandino on the Fox broadcast.
I am done with the tush push, guys. It's a hard play to officiate like we've been talking about.
Don't care. Let me tell you something. We don't care.
We don't care.
We don't. It's a tough play to officiate, but with all the discourse this week, Schefter's on Get Up talking about it. Blandino says that at the end of the game. I do grow concerned. One, I said it last year. I'm shocked that it was back this year. I thought it was going to be banned. It was not, obviously.
Right.
So
I think we thought at the owners' meeting for sure.
I thought for sure it was going to go. The fact that it's still here, awesome. But I do think they are going to be flag happy with it the rest of the year.
They're going to be watching for that false start or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah. Whether it be false start, whether it be whatever they're going to try and get you for something.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to hinder it. I'm concerned.
Because then they're going to start calling it, and so every time they call whatever Schefter hit the nail on the head. Officials don't know how to call. Blandino said that too. They basically don't know how to call it. They don't know how to judge it, I should say. They don't know how to properly referee the play.
Officials taking up for officials. You should know how to.
I thought, yeah. It's not a new play.
No.
Not this year, last year, the year before. They didn't invent it.
I'm tired of the tush push. I'm tired of doing your job. Do your freaking job. Shut up. All right. Coming up.
The Tush Show. That's what it is.
We're going to keep with the Eagles conversation, the reaction to week 1. Phillies did take 2 of 3 from Kansas City. By the way, Radman, that over-under line on wins over Kansas City this weekend.
I know.
What was it set at?
It was set at 2.5.
Who took the over?
That would be you.
This guy.
Oh, good for you. 1 for 3.
Oh.
How'd you do?
Well, I lost there.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
Oh.
Continue to react to the Eagles. Phillies do take 2 of 3. We'll talk about Nola. We'll talk about Bueller. We'll talk about that 4th starter in the postseason and the path forward. Big series starts tonight in L.A. Late. Get your coffee ready, folks. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, taking you through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's Victory Monday. I'm Sean Rodman, and it was not pretty for the Birds on offense. The defense, on the other hand, they held the Chiefs' offense to just 17 points. Rookie safety, I should say, Drew Makuba had an interception off of Patrick Mahomes in the red zone that helped the Eagles go up 2 scores. And then Jalen Carter, he was seen grabbing around his wrist during the game. He was told the media postgame that it was a stinger and he was never going to come out of that game. Jordan Davis was also left the game and then returned. We'll keep an eye out for both of those on the injury report this week. The Phillies clinch a playoff berth yesterday with the Giants' loss to the Dodgers, but the magic number is at 1 for the NL East. Phillies can clinch the division tonight as the team starts a 3-game series in LA against the Dodgers. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phillies tonight and Emmett Sheehan for the Dodgers. First pitch is at 10:10. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Now the Eagles get ready for the Super Bowl rematch as it's all being, put out this week, that it's the Eagles and the Chiefs again. Now, we were talking this morning. We don't believe that it was 40-6 when the starters went out. We don't believe the two teams were that lopsided in talent against each other. But the beatdown on that day was very visible. To see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes get taken out like that, what do you think they've got cooking for Sunday? And Steve Spagnuolo.
I think that it's going to be a tough challenge because, look, the Chiefs lost their first game, and they're 0-1. So they're the only team in that division, amazingly enough, after 1 week, that didn't win a game. I mean, it would be something if the Chiefs fell 0-2. 0-2. There's no way that they've ever started 0-2 under Mahomes. No way. So that to me is one of the biggest challenges that the Eagles face is you know you're getting their A game this Sunday. Home opener for them, 0-1. Like you're gonna get their best game on Sunday.
Shefty, Zadarius Smith signs with the Eagles. Then they make the trade for Tank Bigsby. Was this something that you believe has been in the works for a while, or was this something to do with week 1?
Both were in the works for a while. Zadarius Smith they've been talking to for quite some time. I think that they were moving towards the deal, didn't get it done in time for the opener, and obviously then got it done shortly thereafter the next day. Tank Bigsby, the conversations with the Jaguars dated back to this summer. Initially, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be a part of that deal with Fred Johnson, the offensive tackle.
Interesting.
And there were some discussions, and Jacksonville, at the end, pulled him back from the trade, and they had agreed to 2 separate packages. One that was a solo Fred Johnson trade, another that was a Fred Johnson and Tank Bigsby trade together. In the end, ultimately at that time, Jacksonville decided it only wanted to part ways with Fred Johnson, but obviously the Eagles remained interested in Tank Bigsby, went back to the well, and finally were able to pry him loose for a 5 and a 6.
Closing in on the 1 o'clock hour here, 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, and folks, Ricky Batalico is back from vacation.
In a big way.
In a big way. I honestly thought he was going to Barry Bonds me there for a second there in that break. I thought for a second there I was in trouble. I really was worried. I have not seen him. He hasn't thrown a fastball like that at someone in a while. He was
fired up.
Fired up.
Did I see a couple number 1s in there too?
Oh yeah.
We both told each other we were number 1. Yes.
You did. I was just here. I was here so I don't get fined.
Well, yeah, and that's whatever. I get it. Being nice to you, he was coming after me. Felt a little singled out there in that one.
You were.
Yeah.
You were absolutely singled out.
Yeah.
I believe you were called a homer.
Yes, I was. Just because I'm saying that Blandino maybe should just analyze the play instead of getting upset.
My thing is, if the refs don't know how to call it, isn't that on the refs? They
You knew it wasn't banned.
You knew it last year.
Right.
You knew it this year. Did they just think the last 2 years, like, it's eventually going to get banned, so we don't need to learn how to refer it?
Right. I mean, there's like,
we don't need to learn how to referee this particular play.
Are the Chiefs on sides during it? Was there a move in the neutral zone to punch at the football? Like, you could say the referees didn't do a good job officiating that play. You would be absolutely right. But the play was deemed legal this offseason. Thus,
And
if you did not get to ban it.
And the previous offseason
Right.
to that.
Do I think it's going to survive another year? No, but I didn't think it was going to survive another year last year. And the Eagles didn't run it that particularly well yesterday.
No, it wasn't. I mean, they ran it a lot.
But yeah, they didn't run it particularly well.
It was more quantity than quality yesterday.
Right. Like, the whole if anyone could do it, everyone would do it. Like, okay, they got to be better at it. Like, it didn't have the same effectiveness that it's had before. So, you know, again, credit to them for what they did. They're 2-0, but I'm excited to see what Ricky and Bill have cooking up because I could see Bill with the whole.
Okay, don't worry about it. Enjoy it.
I could see him doing the enjoy the win thing today.
Enjoy the win.
I don't know how much Ricky's enjoying this win.
Hey, he's very angry. It's like a loss.
2-0 in September. He's fired up also, I assume, for the clinch tonight for the Phillies.
It's going to be it's a late game.
I don't know if it's a missed opportunity. So it's obviously like to clinch at home would be a lot of fun for the fans that were out there yesterday.
It'd be
so
fun
you
for
missed
them as well.
That opportunity to clinch while the Eagles were gearing up for the Chiefs game almost feels like I don't know if
that's more of a fan thing.
Yeah, but to me, like how many more people are going to experience it now? But it's on the West Coast.
No,
so, like nobody's really going to experience this.
I mean, there's people that are going to experience it.
Right, but like it's.
Yesterday was the day if you really wanted to, because maybe they would have gone to Xfinity afterwards and
get across country to L.A.
for like an hour just to drop in and say hey to the fans
in the midst of the Eagles crowd there.
That would have made it even better.
I guess maybe
from the balcony.
I don't know. But I was there Friday and Saturday. I was like, I got to Sunday. People were like, what do you want?
Stateside Live.
Yeah,
Apologies.
people were like, when are we going to start calling it Stateside Live?
Never. I will try.
I will.
Do my best.
Because I keep calling it Stateside Live now, but I do find myself when I say like I said, I'm going over to Stateside Live. Someone's looking at me like, I'm like, it's what it's called. It's what it's called. I know, like I've still called that thing over there in Camden, BB&T Pavilion.
Well, we've had that discussion. I remember last summer because I think I was going to a concert. I was like, everyone I think just calls it whatever it is they first learned about it as.
Yes, and you also don't have the struggle of Xfinity Mobile Arena because you just call it work.
Factual.
You just say I'm going to work, like you.
But sometimes we do say like here at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Yeah.
For Sixer season, I will have to get more into the
right
that because here inside the building is usually kind of how I say it.
Well, it's funny. We were having this conversation. Two of us actually talk off the air, which is crazy. I know people are like, people just work in this industry. This is the only time we talk. You were calling it. Sportsnet.
Yes.
I was like,
I'm notorious for that. It hasn't been Sportsnet for a while, but it's just sometimes it's easier just to say Sportsnet.
I'm just curious how long it's going to take people to call it Stateside Live. Because every time I mentioned it this weekend to people when I said where I was.
They get like that kind of like glazed over look, like where?
I'm going over to Stateside. I'm worried that people think that I'm all the way up at Stateside, which fantastic distillery.
True.
Would love
Yes.
to go hang out up there, not far from where I live. But I'm sure people are like, is that where he's been all week?
Yeah, that seems far.
Yeah, it's a far place to go from
in the
city.
Link
from Citizens Bank Park. But speaking of Citizens Bank Park, 2-3 this weekend.
2-3.
Good. Encouraging. I liked the start that we got, ish from Walker Buehler. Like, there were moments where I was a little freaked, but mostly solid.
Mostly solid. Yeah, it wasn't a great game. It was a good enough game. The thing is, the offense has been picking you up, so that's what you need to see. You need to be able to, we've talked about it last week, how much the Duran signing has solidified the back end of that bullpen, and now it's your starters go 6, you have a guy 7, you have a guy 8, you have a guy 9. If you're Luzardo's case, obviously you went a little bit deeper into those, but ideally you go at least 6, if not try to get into the 7th and set everybody else up. So for Walker Buehler to come out and really, when he was released in August by the Red Sox, his ERA was almost 5.5. It was like 5.45, I think, in that range. And he really only had the one kind of warm-up in Lehigh Valley. And it wasn't particularly long either. It was just kind of like, all right, you were pitching in the big leagues. You weren't. Here's one start with Lehigh Valley. I think it went 3 innings.
Yeah.
So I was on the show. I did the pre and post game on Friday night for that, and Ben Davis had a really good point about like his repertoire of pitches and how much he wasn't going to them as much because he's had not a lot of success. Guys were batting like well over 300 against some of his pitches, and so they must have had a pretty good game plan going into that as far as trying to utilize. And I know that people will say it's the Royals, but the Royals have good hitters. Honestly, until yesterday, Bobby Witt was very quiet for that series. Of course, then he made up for it in one game, which is whatever. It's Bobby Witt. That's what he's going to do. But they've got guys that can hit. And they're right at 500 or thereabouts, maybe one game under now. But I feel like that's a decent team. So for Walker Buehler at least to steady the ship and get through 5 innings, I was like, that's what you needed. I don't expect a lot from him, but he's pretty honest. He's like, he goes, I know I was bad, but I was bad before, and then I was good in the playoffs. So hopefully that's the case. All right, that's about as honest assessment as you can get.
Yes. For the 3 right-handed starters this weekend, through 5 innings, you'd probably take Aaron Nola. It's just that 6th inning for Aaron Nola was so bad on Sunday that it opens up the conversation again of that 4th spot in the postseason rotation. I'm going 3 lefties, folks. I know. I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't care.
Because it's all about winning.
And they're different. They're different types of lefties. You're getting different looks from the 3 of them. I get it. It's 3 left-handers. This has been the year of the left-hander in baseball. Lefties have outperformed right-handed pitching. I can't just say because this guy is right-handed, he's starting in my rotation. Sorry. Nola, I think right now still is the inside track to that 4th starter just because you're not confident in what Buehler's going to be. And I know people are saying, well, with merit, Taijuan Walker this season. I think Taijuan Walker's hit that part this season where I'm just expecting the slide. I think they're going to be a lot quicker with the hook for Nola. So if he goes 5 the way he went 5 on Sunday, I would not imagine he sees a 6.
Yeah. Thanks so much. We appreciate you getting us through this first couple of innings.
So I'm still going that way. Am I going to sit here and tell you that I was thrilled while we were sitting here pregame watching as the Nola thing was happening? No.
It was tough.
It was tough to watch.
It was tough to watch because then you thought, I needed to see what we saw the last outing from him because then you'd have 2 under your belt.
Yep.
As far as recent memory.
We were right there.
Okay, we were right there. We're trucking along, all good. He could start game 2. He could start game 2. And then the 6th inning happened and you thought, nope.
Yeah.
And he still might.
I don't think he was going to get me to he could start game 2.
Sure.
After those 5 innings.
If he had the same outing he had the game before.
Rangers' last 5 starts, he's at a sub-1 ERA.
You still wouldn't have thought about switching up left, right, left?
All right. I can't do it.
I would have thought about it.
I can't do it. The 3 lefties have stepped up in a big way without Wheeler.
That's probably going to happen.
Oh, I know. Okay. But I'm going to be mad.
I just want you to be prepared for it.
People, I get it all the time. Well, you're a Rob Thompson apologist. And, you're an organization apologist. You
I
just
love when you
baseball.
do the voices.
You just love the Phillies. You just will sign up for whatever they do. And to be honest with you, I think I sign up for a lot of what they do because it works. If they start Aaron Nola game 2, much like I said back in 2023, if Craig Kimbrell came to the game 4 out there in Arizona, I'm going to lose it. I lost it on the Kimbrell thing. I will lose it on the Nola thing starting game 2. I don't care about pedigree. I care about what you've been. And what you've been this year, ERA-wise, is worse than Walker Buehler, who I'm talking about. Well, we'll see if he has anything for you. Sorry. That's the way I feel about the whole thing. And if it does happen, trust me, I will lose it in that moment.
I will check on you. I will check on you.
Please, I will need you to check them. We got people texting about the clinching scenario tonight.
Yes, one person checking in says, as someone who wakes up at 4 in the morning for work, I'm pissed that they're going to clinch this series out west. I wish it was on Sunday.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, I get the I wish it was on Sunday. Yeah, I guess
but it'll be fun. What a way to stay up.
Yeah, maybe today, I'll tell you, I'm doing the preemptive nap. Today is a preemptive nap day for me.
Okay.
Now I understand my work schedule and my responsibilities in life. For a lot of you, you also want to give me the number 1 sign with okay, bleep you, kid. I understand that you don't have a lot of responsibility in life and your work schedule allows you to take that preemptive nap. But this series is a preemptive nap thing for me. I'm going to try and get some sleep in prior to because you just got to build up for these West Coast trips. They're tough content-wise. I stay up for these games. I'm not a big report back to me in the morning and watch condensed game guy.
I'm not a nap.
Oh, yeah, I'm a nap guy. I'm going to try and get an hour in tonight to try and
stuff to do.
Yeah, well, again, a nice bleep you to me, the kid that can take the nap. Go ahead.
One more text saying, this person actually on the other side of it says, I think it's better they clinch on the road. Not as much celebration. Stay focused and get that number 1 seed.
And I'm curious for people, because I remember this was a conversation last year. How much do you want to see them celebrate this?
See, I remember this conversation, us having this conversation last year, and I thought, I don't know. I feel like I'm old man yelling at the cloud if I'd tell them not to celebrate. There was the whole like, oh, act like you've been there before. I don't know. I see teams all the time. When the Yankees were constantly winning, they were going crazy.
And Rob Thompson was there for that. You know
The
what you
Red
gotta
Sox
do?
were on there winning. They would go crazy.
Pop the bottles, folks.
Just cheer it. Enjoy
Chug
it.
your beer. Enjoy it. Have fun playing the game. It's a game. I hope they celebrate the
understand
crap out of this one. I hope we got
think they're
hungover
going
Garrett
to.
Stubbs starting on Tuesday.
That's always
I
my
need
favorite
that.
thing about the next day. It is just like, hey, Weston Wilson, how about another turn at second base for you? Great. Would you like to pitch maybe the 7th inning? That would be also fun because, Weston, you've done that before. Stubbs 100% behind the plate.
Hope they party the night away in L.A. if they clinch the division. They deserve it. It's tough to do it.
Yeah.
It's a 162-game marathon. They can enjoy one night, folks. I hope they party like nobody's business. I do feel for one person here. This will be the third Connor Thomas mention. Late game tonight. Don't think he's going to be able to stay up. I don't know if you remember. Connor Thomas, a year ago, he does this. He's got the goggles. He will have a bottle of champagne, and he will pop the bottle of champagne by himself at his apartment when they clinch.
I
don't know if he has plans to do this, but I feel for him tonight because he's got morning duties, obviously, tomorrow with a late game. I wonder what his celebration plans are. All right, coming up, we'll take a little bit of
Tune in
engagement there
tomorrow
on
and
how much you want to see them celebrate. Get back to the birds here. I have a little issue here. It's not a little issue. It's a bigger issue for the season, but because it's only been 2 weeks, I'm not going to overplay it. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, taking you through middays here at 97.5 The Fanatic.
Shefty, lastly, what's the status for Xavier Worthy for Sunday's game? I don't know how you play with a brace when you have that kind of an injury to your shoulder, but I'm not calling myself as tough as an NFL player. Andy Reid saying it's day to day. Do you believe Xavier Worthy will be playing Sunday against the Eagles?
My guess would be no. And if he does play, he'll play with a harness. And I don't know how effective he'll be with a harness when you're a little guy and a fast. I don't know those things. I've never played a football game with a harness on. So, look, he's not going to be full strength if he plays. That's the one factor that we know. They don't have Rashee Rice. So they're certainly a little shorthanded at wide receiver. And when you watch the Chiefs on Friday, and maybe it was just a function of it being week 1 in Brazil against a tough Chargers defense. Like maybe all those things all factored in. But they just looked a little they looked a little sluggish to me. They didn't look as explosive as you expect a Chiefs offense to be. Now, saying that, they can go out on Sunday and light up the scoreboard with 30 or 40 points.
Midday show here on The Fanatic alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Two people that will celebrate a division title tonight. Okay? You know what? Maybe I'll go get the bottle of champagne myself. You know what?
Yes.
Maybe I'll do the Connor Thomas here and just pop a bottle. I'm not.
Toast
I can't.
it up. Nice. There's no.
I can't. Also, like the cleanup from that. I always wonder, like, he does the video of him popping the bottle of champagne. Like the
I
cleanup.
missed this.
Yeah, I can find it.
Yeah, will you send me one?
Yeah.
So
Does he at least go outside?
Yeah, that's my second question. Or so when you have, for those, we all have seen it, the celebration things. I've been in the locker room for one of them after they beat the Braves in the postseason, and it was awesome. You're drenched in it, but they also cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
The whole clubhouse is covered in clear tarp. So
Here you go. Yeah, I got the 2024 video right here.
I mean, like, I would think that either he's got a bunch
He's
of clear,
outside.
Oh,
He's
there
outside,
you go.
so
That
he's
makes
got to be
more
on
sense.
a roof, I would assume. But
Okay,
I will
or like
send
some
this to
kind
you
of
right
deck.
now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. There is a hat that I have that I wore when I was in the clubhouse for the champagne celebration after they beat the Braves, and it still smells. But I mean, I've washed it. I soaked it. It's fine. Now it's just like one of those fun things. Every time I put it on, I'm like, oh, okay. I think I definitely like the one dress. It's gone. That left.
Yeah, that's
No
like
longer with
I
us.
think a career goal of mine to be in one of
It's-
those post-game celebration.
Well, because like it's so fun. They're so celebratory, obviously, and everybody's in on it. But when you're in there, it's obviously dark, and you throw on the light for your camera, and that might as well just be like a spotlight of like, because we're getting ready to talk to
Yeah.
somebody. That's why the camera is turned on, the light's turned on. So it's just like a beacon of like, oh, you're gonna talk to Kyle Schwarber? Okay, we'll be right over.
Yeah, moths
We'll see you
to
in
a
just
flame
a
right there.
second.
Yeah, they're coming over to
We'll
cause
see you in
problems
just
for
a
that.
second.
And I say that because like people be like, "Whoa, why is that a career goal for you? You could probably go get a credential." Yeah, if I'm not there all season long, though, credential, I'm not going to be the guy that shows up clinch night.
Hey, how's it going,
Yeah,
everybody?
I'm like, Budweiser free, all right, And obviously,
Great.
you guys aren't drinking on the reporter side of things, but I would say being in there, it's like, oh yeah, seeing the party happen would be a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited to see. Hopefully tonight, watch that one. I'm curious what happened to the Budweiser or the Yingling, whatever beer it is.
Budweiser, I think. Well, at least I thought it was last year.
Yeah, Budweiser's been the one that has had the rights to their celebrations before. I'm wondering where the bucket of Budweiser and the bucket of
that's a
champagne
good
went,
question.
because it
Like,
had to have been on ice last
Because they
night.
usually have like those.
cart.
Yeah, it's a big cart, like the laundry cart full, and they just have it all. So the guys just go and they drink some, they spray a majority of it. So that's what's interesting is it's somewhere. Do you just save it for when they get back?
I guess.
You save it for the next time? Did you go
I mean, if they
purchase
were
it?
handing it out, I'm just curious where the handout was. Like, are they going to be,
Or is it just like, hey, remember that Budweiser we didn't drink? Just it's like, like a party gift on your way out. Take the case.
Yeah.
Take a case or two.
I'm just wondering what happened to it. It's the guy with some questions about this.
That's a good question.
Yeah, but big one. This Dodgers series, you need to take one out in LA, at least one. I think the expectation the rest of the way, as much as I'd love to catch the Brewers, still being 2 back of them with 12 to play, and them having the tiebreaker over you, that top seed again feels very, very much improbable. It's possible, not probable, for them to get it. Taking 1 of 3 out there in LA pretty much makes this a very, very difficult lead to blow in terms of the second seed, which is like where I kind of want to set the bar. I'd love to go take 2 or 3 out there, but this week you take 1 of 3 out in LA, you get to celebrate out there. Then you got 9 games the rest of the way. A Diamondbacks team that's kind of playing for its life, and then the Marlins and the Twins in 2 teams that you should be able to clean up pretty easily the rest of the way. I mean, you just 7-5 the rest of the way with 1 win over the Dodgers. I'm good.
And that's the thing. This is when they swept the Mets. You're always thinking about the clinching scenarios. Oh, when's it going to be? Oh, the 23rd, the 21st. Oh, hopefully it's not on an off day where the Mets lose or something like that. When they extended their lead, it's 12 games. That's the most it's been since 2011.
Beautiful.
I mean, and that's where it was just like, oh, so now you're sitting so much prettier.
And the Mets still got problems. Now the Reds have, unfortunately, had a tough weekend with the A's, and that
was disappointing.
The Reds were the ones with a tiebreaker over the Mets. The Giants have to outright beat the Mets, which makes it more difficult for them. So as we watch what happens with that last postseason spot, it's important because it's probably going to be Dodgers versus whomever for that 6th spot because you're likely into that 2 spot.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer that top seed, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen for you. So I hope that I'm wrong. Like I said, I'll eat Skyline chili if I'm wrong. But that's what I would prefer. I said it. I'm going to do it.
I've had Skyline chili. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's a pretty low bar.
Yeah, fair. I'm not really interested, but I might try it.
All right.
I mentioned that I want to talk about an issue I have with this Eagles team.
Besides the offense?
It has to do with the offense. Okay. Let's keep it with the theme of the day. Defensively, if we haven't thrown enough flowers at the feet of Vic Fangio, he deserves it. The defense has been good. But coming up here, these 4-minute drives that they had a year ago to really kill the game, they've gone just about as conservative as they possibly can on those drives, and they have gotten a nothing late in the game to close it out. It's put everything at the pressure of the defense to stop that team one more time. I need more from you in that final closing fourth quarter drive, similar to what you had last year, especially if your game plan in the second half is get a lead and go conservative. I need you to be able to scheme up something to look better in that 4-minute offense. We'll explain more as we get going here. Continue through the 1 o'clock hour. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's Victory Monday. I'm Sean Rodman, and it wasn't pretty yesterday for the Birds on offense. Nick Sirianni was asked post-game on the style of the Eagles' win.
Our job, especially early in the season, is, and what I've said constantly to the team, is find a way to win. Take pride in winning any way that you possibly can. Work to get better throughout the week. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
The defense, on the other hand, held the Chiefs' offense to just 17 points, and rookie safety Drew Makuba had an interception off of Patrick Mahomes in the red zone that helped the Eagles go up 2 scores the following drive. Jalen Carter was seen grabbing his wrist in the game late. He told the media post-game that it was a stinger, and he was never going to come out of that game. We'll keep an eye out for him on the injury report, though, on Wednesday when the first injury report is released. Same with Jordan Davis, who left the game and then later returned. We'll keep an eye out for him as well. The Phillies clinched a playoff berth yesterday, but the Giants lost to the Dodgers. But the magic number is at 1 for the NL East. The Phillies can clinch the division tonight as the team starts a 3-game series in LA against the Dodgers. Ranger Suarez gets the start for the Phillies tonight, and Emmett Sheehan for the Dodgers. First pitch is at 10:10. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Sean Rodman on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Shefty, lastly, what's the status for Xavier Worthy for Sunday's game? I don't know how you play with a brace when you have that kind of an injury to your shoulder, but I'm not calling myself as tough as an NFL player. Andy Reid saying it's day. Do you believe Xavier Worthy will be playing Sunday against the Eagles?
My guess would be no. And if he does play, he'll play with a harness. And I don't know how effective he'll be with a harness when you're a little guy and a fast. I don't know those things. I've never played a football game with a harness on. So, look, he's not going to be full strength if he plays. That's the one factor that we know. They don't have Rashee Rice. So they're certainly a little short-handed at wide receiver. And when you watch the Chiefs on Friday, and maybe it was just a function of it being week 1 in Brazil against a tough Chargers defense. Like, maybe all those things all factored in. But they just looked a little they looked a little sluggish to me. They didn't look as explosive as you expect a Chiefs offense to be. Now, saying that, they can go out on Sunday and light up the scoreboard with 30 or 40 points.
Shefty, lastly, what's the status for Xavier Worthy for Sunday's game? I don't know how you...
Here on 97.5, The Fanatic. I'm Ray Dunn, taking you through alongside Amy Fadul. Sean Rodman produced the show. The 2-0 Birds. There's problems there, but the 2-0. So champagne problems a little bit. Hoping that it's champagne tonight for the Phillies and champagne problems for your Birds. One of the problems that I have, Amy Fadul, 4-man offense. Back-to-back weeks. All right, so you're obviously playing these one-score games. Close games with less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Almost identical, by the way, time-wise. Maybe not totally identical because it was a little bit earlier. 7 minutes to go in the game against the Chiefs. It was 5 minutes to go in the game against the Cowboys. But defense, big 3-and-out. After you score the touchdown off the interception, defense gets a 3-and-out following that touchdown. You're leading by 10 points against the Chiefs. So at that point,
exactly,
you got the 3-and-out. Ball's coming back to you. 7 minutes left to go in the game. You go to that game against the Cowboys. Cowboys end up going, it was 4 plays and out because they got a first down and then they went 3-and-out while you're leading by 4 with just under 5 minutes to go. Ball gets back to the offense. Cowboys game, 3 plays, 7 yards, right back to Dallas. This game, 6 plays, 16 yards, right back to the Chiefs. Chiefs obviously then go get that touchdown. Eagles are able then, in the last 3 minutes, to kill that game.
Yeah.
But one of the sustainable things from last year, one of the things that they took week in and week out, even we talked about what was the deal with this, what was the deal with that, they had an incredible ability to take like 8 minutes off the clock and just run you down, wear you down, grind you out, and get out of there with the victory. They got the ball back with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter last year. You were thinking, is there a chance they're going to run this thing all the way down?
Because they would have these sustained, just absolutely clock-draining drives.
Yes, and through 2 games, they've had opportunities to put teams away, and they have not done it offensively. That, to me, is a difference from one year to another that sticks out through 2 weeks.
And do you think that the lack of, I don't even know how to put it, but because big plays don't necessarily take longer as far as like sustaining drives, but they do help buoy your offense.
Right.
So there are none of these like explosive type plays that we were talking about earlier, but there's not even the ripping off of like 8, then 7, then 8, then
right.
I'm not
that
talking about
9-yard run. I was talking about it like it was 70.
Exactly. That's the thing. So there's none of these. Yeah, we didn't see like the big 20. We saw the 128-yard catch by Devontae, but you didn't see a lot of those. But you didn't even see a lot of the sustaining like 8, 7, 6, 8. It was like 2, 3, 4. Those are the ones that don't work the clock as much because you're just not keeping it as long because you're not matriculating the ball down the field as well as you should.
Right.
And as quickly or as slowly as you should.
And you get to that, after you get the first down in that, again, second to last drive for the Eagles yesterday, you have to use your own timeout under 5 minutes to go.
Right, yeah.
And then it's back-to-back underwhelming runs, and then it's a pass that's too short for the sticks. And it's like, okay, now you're going to get this right back.
I was like, really?
And, like, I get it. They were going to pressure. You were going to have to get that ball out. But you put yourself behind the sticks again, and that's just something that a year ago doesn't happen. We talked about last week. 6 carries for Saquon in the fourth quarter, no yards against the Cowboys. That can't happen for a team that if your identity is we're going to be risk-averse, we're going to be conservative, we get the lead, we're going to drain the clock, you have to then go about
but then you didn't actually do that.
On that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just weren't able to execute. Now, you are able to execute when you have the ball back with 3 minutes left. You're able to get that 9-yard rush. Again, genius move by Sirianni. I got a text immediately from someone that was like, why you decline that penalty there? It's like, okay, right there, you don't want to give them the advantage of the 2-minute warning and the stoppage of the clock. You decline that penalty.
They were out of timeouts at that point.
Yes. So that
even
sustains the game for you.
Exactly.
Which, yeah, you can never know whether or not they were out of timeouts because the score bug was
I looked
awful.
at it. I was like, do they not have any? Because it seems like they might have some. And then I was like, no, they have all of them. No, they have none of them. That couldn't have been worse to read.
America's Game of the Week.
You had no idea. Of course, there's the Andy Reid jokes about timeouts, but
I know high school production companies that have high school interns that do a better job of running the score bug than Fox did yesterday in that game. It's a very small inside media thing for me to be upset about. But
you didn't know if they had any timeouts up. That's an important fact.
And they were just lifting the score bug off the screen there for plays at a time. It's like, oh, I'd love to know what down it is, what the distance is. I'd also love to know how much time's left here. No, we're not going to go to the scoreboard for this play. Fine.
We don't need it.
And then the Eagles challenge. I thought they were correct in the challenge. They obviously, according to the officials, were not. Thus, you lose a timeout. For the longest time there's
still
3
sitting
timeouts sitting there. Like, again, very small thing for me to be upset about.
Yeah, but like when we become so, it's funny when you look at old clips of anything, the score bug would pop up and then you would never see it again. But we've been so ingrained to seeing it and knowing what the down, distance, time, timeouts, score, all of that is. When you don't give it to us anymore,
right.
I'll ask for a lot, but I asked for exactly what you've given me for the last 5 years. Thanks so much.
And back to what I was asking for here. This 4-minute offense, this late game offense, clock killing offense that they were a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to overstate what I feel about it. But to me, it's almost as important as the passing game thing. Because if you're going to be this risk-averse offense, if you're going to be the one, like we're going to get conservative in the second half, we're going to be brilliantly boring, and we're just going to try and work our way down the field and just use our dominance to beat teams down. If that's the identity of the team, which Jalen Hurts last week said they're still trying to find the identity of this offense, but if that's an identity that they could end up going with, through 2 weeks you haven't been able to show me that. And if the passing game isn't going to get into rhythm, I'd like to be able to lean on the identity I knew from a year ago, which is we're going to be able to just wear you down late in the game. And 2 weeks of data is not a lot of data, but it's enough to show me a potential trend here. And those second-to-last drives left a lot to be desired.
Yeah. And the worry was when you saw the second-to-last drive, because you knew the way that the clock was working and the 2-minute, it was like, if they don't do that, you cannot give Patrick Mahomes the ball back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying there was a guarantee that he was going to be able, but you're only up 3. You're telling me that you don't think the way that Patrick Mahomes will be able to get them in field goal range? I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that was going to happen. You had seen it just happen. So I think that was more problematic because your inefficiency to be able to work that clock and have those sustained drives almost led to. And I know, I feel like we're like nitpicking about, oh, these things almost happened. Yes.
They won. They're 2-0.
But that's the thing. Like, you're just trying to prevent this happening. Because you can't keep flirting with disaster and think it's going to end well for you every single time.
19-1 in the last 20, Amy.
19-1 in the last 20. That's impressive.
Flirting with disaster is fun.
Listen, that's how they live. They're living good, I tell you what.
The Eagles. Love flirting with a little bit of disaster. Let's go to the phone lines here. 610-632-0975 975. Talk to our buddy Andy in Lambertville. Andy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, good afternoon, Ray and Amy and Sean. How you doing today?
Hi,
doing
Andy.
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm actually in the car. I'm taking my lovely lady down to Cape May for a few days.
Lovely.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. We're on our way down there to get a little couple of days getaway. And but something came up this weekend, Ray, and you know how I always ask about a segment. What would Ray do in this situation? So there's something that I'm having a little difficulty with. I have a buddy that I've been friends with for about 40 years.
Okay.
I mean, elementary school, middle school, high school, and he's been a Cowboys fan for his whole life. I mean, he must have got dropped on his head, of course. But anyway, he just recently, over this Parsons trade, said that he's done with the Cowboys, and now he's an Eagles fan.
Nope.
And now he's showing up with Eagles jerseys and Eagles hats and sweatshirts. And, like, do I tell him, like, you're not welcome, or should I just let him, like...
Actually, Andy,
you can let him live in a vacuum. Like, he can just stay separate from you, maybe.
This is probably a little heavy for you to deliver in terms of news. So what I'll do for you here, Andy, I'll look right into the camera. What's this guy's name? Actually, I don't want...
His name's Keith Walker.
Okay,
Keith.
well, now you really just doxed Keith. I wasn't even going to go for the first name. You gave us the full name here.
Now, he's a good dude, but he's just a weirdo.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
That's a ringing endorsement.
Honestly.
Good stuff. He's just crazy.
Keith, you listen to me here. You're not welcome. Okay? For 40 years, you laughed. You made no ring jokes. You took great joy in our pain here in Philadelphia. Just because you now are feeling pain, you are not welcome. I'm
right.
sorry.
All through the 90s, he was rubbing it in my face, and I'm like, oh, now it's funny, huh? He's a front-running bandwagon, and you know what? And I thought the same, and I thank you, Ray, for letting me know, because I've been torn because he's a nice guy. So I was like, should I just let him come in, or should I tell him shut the door and, like you do with most of your dates, take it down the street?
There it is. That was good stuff, Andy.
Andy, have a great weekend.
He's right down there. You say we were trucking along, we were sailing so well. It was a good breeze and calm seas, felt good, and then all of a sudden,
have a good week down there in Cape May.
Enjoy
Andy.
Cape May with your lovely lady.
Oh,
Andy.
I appreciate it.
And to his friend, Mr. Walker, we're so sorry, but you're not.
Yeah, poor Keith.
Maybe he can be a front. If he wants to be a front runner, maybe he can be a Chiefs fan.
Packers
something
fan.
Fun.
You can't go in division.
I think you got to go like completely out of conference.
Feels right. Feels right because you were preying on the downfall of a lot. Though it's tough though. Even out of conference, you probably play a team in a Super Bowl if you were rooting for one successful team. Like you actively went against that team. It's hard. I can't imagine the switch. There's switches you have to make. Okay, you have to make the switch in important things in life.
Ready? Maybe football's not for him right now.
Right, but when you're talking about what you listen to, maybe you make a switch. When you talk about who you root for, you don't make the switch. It's an important thing here. It's an important thing here. Coming up, you know what we're going to focus on at the end here?
So much good.
So much good.
We're going to lock in on what
much
was
win.
good. 2-0. All right? Going to lock in on what was good in that game. We talked a lot about what wasn't. We'll take your text. We'll clear out our text line before we get out of here. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is your wheelhouse, too. Offensive line. How you think Tyler Steen looked as the starting right guard?
I mean, it's like he started all last year. He had a phenomenal game. He showed presence out there. He wasn't just in there filling in. He showed that I wanted a position. He was, very, very explosive out there. He put his hands on people. He was moving people. He looked like a day one starter, like he should have been there last year. I was totally impressed on Tyler Steen and how he approached this game. I mean, kudos to, Coach Stoutland making sure he's ready to play. And I tell you what, I had rave reviews for him all through the postgame, the other night, and just the way he played. So big ups to him going out there and really showing and imposing his will on that office as an offensive lineman.
How are teams kind of looking at the Phillies when it comes to playoff baseball?
Know how people here look at the Phillies, but I also get to hear how people on the outside look at them. And here's the phrase that GM-type figures in two front offices use to describe them to me just in the last few weeks. They both said, that's the best team we played all year. And these are two guys, their teams they both have winning records, so they're not just saying that. One of them said to me, when he looks at the Mets, he sees a team that isn't that different from his team or any of these teams in this pack. But when he looks at the Phillies, he sees a team that runs a starting pitcher out there every night, or just about every night, that's better than his team's pitcher and better than most teams' pitcher. And that's still true even without Zach Wheeler, which really opened my eyes. He said he told the other guys in his front office. He said, you know what, I think we've got a nice team. But when I look at that team, that's the varsity, and the rest of us are the JV. And the other thing is the numbers bear that out. The Phillies have won more series against teams with winning records than any other team in baseball.
It's not sustainable, and I don't think it's a big stretch or saying it's a negative take. 101 yards of passing offense is not a winning formula over a 17-game season in the NFL. That is just simple. You're not going to see it a lot. Did they win?
No.
Yes. Is it going to work every time? No.
All right. To the text line.
Simple.
All right, let's start with this texter saying, the first 2 games last year, as I remember, were non-existent on the fourth quarter, the 4-minute drives, meaning when they won, stated those drives are wasn't until game 3, so we should calm down a little bit and wait. That's Paul from the Northeast.
Paul?
I double-checked that as well. Week 1, the Eagles had a 16-play, 7-minute and 25 that went 67 yards drive that basically sealed the game with a touchdown.
Right. The second game, I think Paul has a point. Because the Falcons game, I believe.
Yes.
Well, because Saquon dropping it was supposed to be the play that ended that game. So even, okay. Yes, they didn't execute in that second game the 4-minute offense, though the play was there to do it. So
at least, and that's the thing we talked about. We didn't see the plays.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Didn't see the execution there to be made in the 4-minute offense over the last 2 games. So, Paul, you have somewhat of a point. There's a lot of things I'm gonna be patient about. That one, maybe not necessarily as much. I feel like it should be there, especially if that's the way that you want to attack the second half, where we get a lead. We kind of just run things out here. What else we got?
All right, next up on the text line, we have no name on this one. I'm sorry, excuse me.
You all right in there? Oh, my. No.
You're getting choked
Tickled
up.
my throat.
Getting
Sorry
choked
there
up.
for a second.
He's crying. He's weeping over the 4-minute offense. I understand. It's going to be okay. You know what? Maybe we won't panic. We'll take care of you, Robin.
Sorry about that. Let's go to about the Tush push. The officials ought to start calling defensive offsides on the push as much as they plan on calling illegal procedure.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there are things to be officiated there. But if you're deciding not to officiate, that's on you.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't say it's a hard thing to officiate when you've had multiple seasons to try to learn how to officiate.
Right.
So
Did they go into this offseason as officials and just be like, you know what?
It's not going to happen anymore, so we're just not going to learn about it.
Right. That's dumb. Quite dumb.
We don't like it, so therefore we're not going to learn it.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. That's your job.
Figure it out.
Next up, we have Christine from Robbinsville saying, Eagles definitely need to work out some kinks. They started off last year as well, not looking great in the first 2 games. I agree with Nick. We've got to take steps to get there. Go Birds.
All right, can we play this again? Sirianni.
Yeah.
Going back to Sirianni. This is probably a bigger conversation for me tomorrow. Just like the change in message when he talks about this.
Talking about last year?
Yeah. But I bring this up, and as I said, so much good in this last segment. I do think he has the ability to drive this message home to them. And I think it's important a message certainly to send to the wide receivers of this team about that. About, hey, this has been a thing from last year. It's just we've kind of been operating under the Men in Black. You didn't see anything. Nothing happened. Let's erase your memory, which pop culture reference for me. I feel like that's a
I think
check mark. That's
done.
something
Did
that
it.
people don't get. Like, Ray doesn't know anything about one thing there. But he does mention last year, and he gave this message following the game. Take a listen to Nick Sirianni.
When you come off a season like we came off last year, I think the expectation is that you're going to pick up right where you left off. Well, there's steps to this, right? There's steps for all the teams that are playing right now, and there's steps to get better. So as you're getting better, our goal is to play our best football by the end of the year. As you're getting better, find ways to win, get better, and repeat.
So, with that, he's right, but he does mention two things there that he said he wouldn't. Again, tomorrow conversation. He's right about when they should be playing their best football. In terms of today's conversation, in terms of the genesis of today's show, what we've talked about, the genesis of the sustainability with this team, in September, even early October, you can look this way. You can try and figure out the kinks this way. Some teams are showing you things that are not going to be replicated. The Steelers and the Jets. Week 1, what a game. Week 2, what a shame for both those teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Neither one of those teams 2-0, despite the fact they played a 30-plus point game between the two sides. The Eagles are 2-0. If you can stack wins in September, and you can stack a win against the AFC champ on the road in a game that they needed, that's impressive. It's an impressive win. So it's a good problem in the sense of it was a good win for you. It is impressive to get that victory. And that's, like, the genesis of today's show, again, is the sustainability conversation for this team. No. If we're talking about December, January, we're talking about big-time opponent, like, this was a big-time opponent, but we're talking about postseason type atmosphere.
Yes.
It's tough to justify to yourself that it can look that bad and you be able to sustain that through an entire postseason run. But for one day, you gut it out, you grind it out, you made it happen again. And this is, again, kind of speaking to they've become the boogeyman. They're right now the team in the NFL, you look around and you say, yeah, they're going to find a way to win it.
Well, and also, if you want to take that same energy to everybody's looking at last year, you could also look at last year for the defense and then look at this year for the defense. That was a big question mark.
Mm-hmm.
You hold the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, I don't care who is out there, it's still Patrick Mahomes, to 17 points. That's a good day. That's a good day. So I feel like you're ahead of the game in one aspect of it. You're still behind the 8 ball where you'd love to see the offense at this point, but I don't think you're so far back you can't see, the light at the end of the tunnel. You just want to see more.
And
you had 2 decent plays that were like distance.
Yeah, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. But from a big picture standpoint, in the Sirianni era, since we all fertilized.
Oh, the plants, the
since
roots.
the plants. This team.
They just don't lose.
Finds a way to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
The stretch in which I and many people want him fired for is the anomaly. It's not that this is revolutionary information, but even in the year where 2023, where a lot of people are freaking out that we're going down that path again, they found ways to win. This team finds ways to win, by and large, under Sirianni and in this era. It's impressive. They've kind of become the NFL boogeyman. Like, how in the world are you figuring out a way? How is this team doing it again? Like, somebody goes through their Sunday night and just live it. Like, if you're a Giants fan, like, you watch your team find a way to lose yesterday, and then you watch one of your hated rivals who just won the Super Bowl, took your best player, find a way to win, you have to hate this team.
They just find ways to win.
They've become that level of team. Even on a day where we talked a lot about where this offense is and what it's going to become, the takeaway really becomes this team is that group.
Well, that's the Chiefs. I mean, that was the Chiefs for last year, the year before. Certainly last year.
Last year, yeah.
Absolutely. They had all those very close games, and they just found ways to win because they had lost, all of their weapons and whatever. But they've been really that team for a while. I know you'd have to go back to their first Super Bowl. That was a completely different dynamic team. But really the last 3 years, they just found ways to win.
And you found ways to slow them down. Granted, they're without their top 2 targets
but still,
this time.
You play who you play, and they still had guys. I mean, they still had people out there. I know you don't have Xavier Worthy. It would be nice to have a 4-2 guy. That would be really fun to have.
Yeah, 34-0 lead on the Super Bowl. The year before, when you weren't obviously what you have been over the last season and plus, you still beat them in their place. You beat them in their place again. I get it. They're Mahomes and they're Reed, but at some point, it looks like the mantle could be starting.
It could be.
Going
There's
somewhere
that
else.
conversation that's out there. Well, it was interesting. So in 2023, they beat the Chiefs in
Yep.
Arrowhead, and you had a very, very fired up Sirianni walking off, which we played yesterday, and I had forgotten how fiery it was. It was very fiery. Not fiery this time, but he did give us a little M&M going into the locker room, which I appreciated.
It means more to him there.
Of course it does. It's where he started his career.
Yeah, and also, like, I said this last
And then
week.
they fired everybody, and then they started winning Super Bowls.
Well, that's exactly. I said this last week. Like,
I mean, he knows.
I could go as far as I want doing this. The station, program, whatever director that told me when I was in college I was more of an off-air guy, every time something happens for me, I will think of that person. Like, for Sirianni, him losing that job in Kansas City, he'll always think of that every time he does something well.
And I think Indianapolis always is going to have that place for him a little bit, even though he left there voluntarily. But
this is for Frank.
Exactly. Like it's personal. And these guys, they all find ways to make things, work for them. And it's fired up. You're also beating the team that a lot of people thought, like, oh, well, there's no way you can beat Patrick Mahomes twice, 3 times. You can't do it. Yeah, you can.
Can.
In
They
their
did.
building.
This was fun, Amy.
It was.
Let's
see you on
do it again Wednesday.
Wednesday. I'll be here Wednesday.
Sounds good. Rodman,
Thanks, Sean.
are you all right?
I'm all right.
You're
I
not
don't tickle
choking-
my throat.
choking
I'm
up
okay.
anymore?
I'm
Don't
all right.
cry back there. All right. It's good. Thank you for all your work this week. Amy, look forward to seeing you Wednesday. I'm Ray Dunn. Talk to you again real soon right here. 975 The Fanatic.